Maybe we should censor Red versus.
No.
Yeah, no, that's a bad idea. Fuck that.
Bum 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 ba dum bum 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 ba da dum dum dum. Oh, now they decide to actually be online. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Mehcast Reacts and something of an impromptu-ish stream. You see, today, a new trailer for the James Gunn Superman film dropped, and I figured it'd be a good idea for us to go through the marketing material so far so that we can give our thoughts about it. You see, this isn't really a strict reacts stream because we've both seen all of this, but it's going to be more of a critique, so to speak, where we're going to be going through this in the watch together, and we're going to be talking about it in terms of, you know, having seen this before and having the knowledge of the leaks that have been bandied about this. Yeah.
I'm a psychopath.
If you don't like that evil laugh that Ben did, I'm sorry. You don't know. You haven't read the leaks, and you don't know where this is going. All right. So
do you still have them on hand? I don't know if I do.
I don't have them on hand. I know you sent them to me in our DMs, but
I will hunt them down while we watch this teaser.
I'm not gonna try and pull that up because the for some reason OBS doesn't like it when I change servers or panels on Discord, so I'm just gonna go ahead.
Play the teaser, and I will hunt it down like a psychopath.
Okay, so, when you're in the watch together here, only use the play pause button in the lower left-hand corner, because for some reason, if you click on the main window, it pauses, and then it hits play again automatically. It's been like that for years. They still haven't fixed it. Don't know why.
I found it.
And you can adjust the volume independently. Also, you can go check out the Mehcast that we did. I think it was either... Excuse me, it was the week or so after the leaks came out that we talked about them. Look for the one that has... look for the one that has Ben and myself and Damon and Kevin and I don't remember who else was on there. But we talk about the Superman leaks, and, well, suffice to say...
They're all true!
Yeah, it looks like they're all true, because the official trailer, the first official trailer that they put out, has a big scene that was talked about in them. So, we're going to be watching the teaser for the teaser that they put out. That's first. You ready, Ben?
Yeah!
Alright. Are you pausing that on purpose?
No, I'm not. Why are you pausing it?
I'm not pausing it. I clicked play.
I'm not doing shit.
You son of a bitch.
I'm not doing shit. Hang on. Don't touch anything. I'm gonna push play.
Okay.
Okay, maybe it was one of us, like, contradicting each other.
We might have been doing it at the same time.
I had to get out of the full screen. Alex, look up. Yeah, it's dick parts.
This is the sound. So this is clearly aping the Yeah. Next up is the official teaser. So that teaser there is clearly aping the first Man of Steel teaser, which featured the Enya song from Lord of the Rings over top of... Oh yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, with footage from the movie, and this has sort of a choral rendition of not James Gunn, of John Williams' Superman theme from Superman 1978, Superman the movie. And I kind of didn't notice that at first. It's kind of neat.
It's a neat a teaser of a teaser.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it does, the film does kind of look a little bit bad it's gonna look a lot worse when we get into these further teasers, because the film has this distinct blue hue across the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's especially present here in the shadows of the snow here.
I do like the shot, I will say.
Yeah, this shot's fine. This shot's also fine, but see the vignette that we have around the camera here, where it almost looks like we're capturing the edges of the camera lens. Yeah, we are using the Warner Brothers UK and Ireland upload because that was the first one I found, because for some reason the YouTube algorithm put the official Warner Brothers US and DC versions all the way at the bottom. And by the time I found those, I didn't care anymore. So yeah, the vignette around the edges of the camera is kind of distracting to me, where there's these shadows towards the edges but not the center. It's an artistic choice that I've never really liked, and that's why I don't use a whole lot of vignette in my work, but yeah.
And I want to point this out. No, keep playing it. Interesting way of introducing your Superman half dead and beaten up.
On a really bad green screen, like you couldn't have just put him on a pile of white powder. It's Hollywood after all. There's probably plenty of cocaine.
You could have brought him out to an actual snowfield and just have him lay there. Yeah, it would have been really fucking cold.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't have done that. Like, as a filmmaker and an actor, I know that, one, that's really difficult to achieve, and two...
Alex isn't a psychopath like I am.
No, I'm a different kind of crazy. I'm just reminded of the fact that Zack Snyder did Watchmen, like, almost 20 years ago, and the Arctic scenes in that looked fucking amazing, and this looks like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And before anybody asks,
the film really does look like cocaine, though.
Yeah, before anybody asks, no, this is not going to be an entirely unbiased critique. You should know by now.
Superman is introduced half dead to the audience,
the wheezing, and
we have the
here we have the fucking here we have the fucking broccoli wig. I don't know why this scene has to be a reshoot, because Corin Sweat's hair doesn't look like this in any other shot.
Because we talked about this, I think on a different stream. I forget which one it was.
Yeah, this was a while ago. Yeah.
They had a lot of reshoots with this film. It's doubled the budget to like over $360 million for tax write-offs.
I want to point out that his glasses look like shit.
Yeah. For some reason, during the reshoots, they had to put a wig on him. And I tried looking up. Alex tried looking up. We tried looking at maybe there's like a scheduling thing or something similar to Henry Cavill with Mission Impossible. We couldn't find anything.
Yeah, no.
Either David is working on a top secret project, or at some point during the reshoots, they're like, put a wig on him. Why?
It might have been that he was working on Supergirl at the time, and he had a different hairstyle in Supergirl, but I don't know.
Stupid. That doesn't make sense either. Like, it's in the same universe. It's not Elseworld.
Well, yeah, but if he's got a different hairstyle in the film for whatever reason, they might have had him do that. But like, as a person with hair, shocking, I know, but as a person who has like kind of long hair, with a lot of curls in it, my hair doesn't look like that.
You accidentally turn on the camera and it shows Lex fucking Luthor.
Yeah, no. But yeah, granted, my hair is not pitch black like that, but, you know,
it's bald.
I know people with jet black hair who have, like, kind of curly hair like that. This is clearly a plastic wig, because I've seen plastic wigs, and this is what they look like. Why you couldn't just get, like, a decent wig for this scene, I don't know. Because, like, Ben Affleck has a hairpiece for Batman, because he doesn't have that point that Bruce Wayne has, and that looks amazing. Like, even in the reshoots for ZSJL and even in even in the reshoots for Justice League, he looked fine. Like, because additional photography, for the pre-credits scene with Martian Manhunter, he looked good. In Justice League, he still looked good. With the wig, regardless of all the other problems that Justice League had. This film costs too much money for this wig to look this bad, I'll say. And yes, we are pausing 22 seconds in. I just, if this is an issue, this will be like Rooney Mara's wig in, or Kate Mara's wig. Yeah, Kate Mara's wig in Fant Four Stick, where it just immediately springs out, like, I know what was shot 3 months later by a different team, I mean, even if this is the same team.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same team as The Flash, if anyone remembers that.
Yeah.
And then,
The Flash has the... Okay, so this right here makes me wonder what the problem was with that big wide shot, because this shot looks fine. Like, there's
this shot...
You can see, like, they still got the stupid fucking, color filter on this with all the teal shadows, but he's got the speckles on the suit. He's got snow in his hair. There's, clearly, like, fake blood on the ground. Not that I'm saying that it looks like fake blood. It's just that he's not actually bleeding as a person, And I just want to point out that this suit looks fucking awful.
Yeah, I don't... It's trying to be... what was that Justice League story called?
It wants to be... It's got the Kingdom Come logo, right? But it's also got... But it's also got, like, the New 52, weird panel lines that it had.
Yeah.
But it's also clearly made out of this, like, thick, bulky rubber, as opposed to, like, the skin-tight latex that they had for previous films. And even the spandex that Christopher Reeve and Brandon Routh wore looked better than this. And the thinner, more sculpted material that Tyler Hoechlin wore was also looked better than this. That's unfortunate when the CW has better suits than you.
Yeah. Yeah, because they had, like, the classic suit, too, and that looked amazing.
Yeah. And now here we get the FL Studio rendition of John Williams' Superman theme with a not real guitar. If anybody here should know, it would be me.
Yeah, a lot of instruments have been becoming digital for some reason.
Who is
and
that?
I will admit, Who?
Who is that?
Lois?
Oh, not Lois. I'm sorry. I was talking about the blonde on the TV. I forgot that we're not doing this as a screen share. I was just pointing at the TV. But yeah, no,
Right.
Lois looks fine, but I like my redheads,
I like the casting for Lois. She's good here. I think David's also good casting. He looks like a younger Henry Cavill, which is I think what they were going with here.
I just remember I can't remember what movie this was for, but I remember there was a cam rip of some film, and they had for some reason they had all the trailers at the start of it, right? And somebody audibly in the audience said, "That's not Superman," when this teaser played.
Yeah, I have a story too, and I'll share mine when we get to it. But yeah, keep going. Yeah, like Lois looks pretty, and there he's not wearing a wig in that.
Yeah,
scene.
no, that's not the same. That's not the like, because you can see here there's kind of like the more naturalistic way that, because it's not the fucking Zoomer wig that looks like an actual hairstyle. That's just a little bit ruffled, you know.
You pointed this out too. So you can tell just by the lighting of the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still
it's
really
weird.
not a fan because it looks like they're trying to go for the Michael Bay Blorange color scheme, right? Where it's got like the teal shadows and the the orange highlights.
I
But
didn't even think of that.
yeah, but it's all digital and it's shot by the guy who did The Flash.
I know. Here's the thing. I want to point something out.
Yeah.
Pause it. It's the same person who did a lot of the filming in Guardians of the Galaxy and some of good other films. But if you
Yeah.
look at his films going straight forward between like old to new, his filming style has been getting worse and worse per film.
Yeah, because Guardians has some shots that look worse than The Flash does.
Mhm.
And The Flash, for all of its other faults, looks terrible. Like, I'm not even making fun when I say this. There are some really atrocious looking special effects in that film, but even that aside, it looks like somebody shot it with a broken camera half the time.
That reminds me of how Army of the Dead had like one of the cameras like be scratched up by mistake, and they had to CGI that.
So there was a dead pixel on one of the cameras, and some people said that they were able to see it on their copies of the film or whenever they streamed it or whatever. I have a copy of the film. I've also watched it on Netflix. I gotta say, I couldn't see that, and I'm the guy who picks up on that stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. I thought it was a scratch.
Yeah, so this is here's the Kent farmhouse, which is in James Gunn's words, a converted double-wide trailer, as opposed to a... so I it's the kind of place my grandparents live in. Like, almost down to the porch and everything. It reminds me of, like, the place that like I said, and I spent a lot of time at a place like this as a kid, because, you know, when you go up to my grandparents' house, stay at their house for a little while, this is what the house looked like.
That's probably what James Gunn was modeling it on, because he said he was basing off Superman's story off his.
Yeah, and then...
questionable, but this is definitely based it off of.
Yeah, but and they've expanded their house over the years, but I've never pictured, like, the Kent farmhouse is supposed to be an old farmhouse that was passed down through the years, you know, from Jonathan's great-grandfather to his grandfather to his father to him, and like when Jonathan dies, and when Martha goes as well, it's gonna be Clark's.
Yep.
I'm getting a little bit choked up here, because I know about, like, you know, everybody knows what'll happen here, but, you know, Clark's gonna raise his kids here, partially at least, you know, and it kind of loses...
You say that like you will finish as a universe.
Yeah. It loses the format of the legacy, because, like, the Kents were supposed to have lived in Smallville, or, you know, in Kansas generally, for, you know, generations, and it, you know, looked like Jonathan and Martha were going to be the last, because Martha had several miscarriages, and then, like, you know, like a miracle from the sky, Clark Kent falls from the sky. Clark Kent is literally their miracle from the sky, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you can't do it with a house like this, but I like seeing, because I've run around the hills of Ohio, you know, where my grandparents live, and I've seen houses like this, but I've also seen things that make me think, damn, that looks like the house that Clark Kent grew up in, you know? Mm-hmm. And for as much as they're aping the Donner films, I would have thought it would have been easy for them to find a two-story farmhouse somewhere, you know?
You know, I want to mention this.
Ben, you know what they could have done if they hadn't destroyed the fucking sets?
What?
they could have used the Smallville set from Superman and Lois.
Why?
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
There was a clip of Reeves, the original Superman, talking about
Yes.
how he wanted to do a more serious Superman film. And it's like, why not take what he said and use aspects of that? And I don't know, maybe we'll watch that clip after
I know.
we watch the
So
trailers.
I know the clip you're talking about, and I've also read Christopher Reeve's autobiography where he talked about the horrible production behind Superman 4, and he talked about how he knew he knew how it should have been shot the way Richard Donner would have shot it, and then he talks about how it actually wound up, and it's kind of funny. I don't have the book. I borrowed it from the library, but I might be able to find the quote if I look.
Hang on, pause for a second. I feel like if James Gunn cared, he would have read a lot into what Reeves had to say about the character and how it should be done.
Yeah.
To a degree, aspects of that. Instead, it's taking more into what Warner Brothers wanted out of Reeves and Donner, which is very flawed.
And now,
and
speaking
has
of which,
interrupted the studio multiple times in the past. But
now,
who knows?
speaking of
All right,
which, this is another example of like they're just doing things that the first off, slash killer Superman face over here. He looks like he's fucking staring daggers at Pa Kent, but
I wanted to point this out later, but like a lot of the issues people had with Cavill, like, oh, he doesn't fucking smile. Superman for most of these trailers is not smiling. He looks all edgy and gropey and stuff. And it's like, I don't mind it, but I'm gonna make fun of it because you guys made fun of Cavill for doing it for decades.
And Cavill,
so eat your own medicine, assholes.
It hasn't been decades yet. It's been 12 years, but yes.
Well, over a decade.
Over a decade, yeah. Now, the no broccoli hair, and we can see scalp here, so that we know that that's not a wig. But yeah, another example of...
hang on, Alex. Get the week counter. It's up by 1 so far.
Gotcha. So, another thing, they've got him wearing the checkered flannel, but they don't have him wearing the red stuff, and... like, that's... if you're gonna go so far as to recreate the Williams theme in FL Studio, I actually think that's using one of the default guitar plugins too, with like some of the glissandi turned on so that it doesn't sound as fake. But and here's the thing, I could be entirely wrong about this. I just remember that I made an electric guitar cover of the Williams theme in FL Studio, and it sounded a lot like this.
Alex,
this wasn't recent. I was like 12 when I did that, I think.
Again, Alex, Superman looks like he's about to put his dad in the truck, throw the truck in the air, and smash his jaw in. This
reminds me of the way Homelander looked at Madeline Stillwell before he lasered her brain out.
Or the reference I was making to Brightburn, which Gunn worked on.
Hello, somebody has joined us. Somebody has not joined us. Who joined us?
Who joined us? Who the fuck joined us?
Who was that? Come back.
Who? Who did it? Get back here, motherfucker! Come here!
Okay.
Come here! I'm sorry for calling you motherfucker. Come here!
We're not nearly as cool as Sam Jackson to be able to call people motherfuckers.
I'm about to fucking rip your teeth out, old man. I will give the movie this. This is the one impressive effect it does have.
Yes. Now, I don't know about you. My lips have to be a little bit dry to be able to whistle. When my lips have been as wet and coated in crap as Superman's were there, I'm not able to get that whistle going. Like I have my lips are
my ears.
My lips are a little bit dry and a little bit wet, but, and obviously I'm not going to try and recreate that now, but when my mouth has been like that, I just can't whistle, because my lips are too, it goes like that, you know? Yeah,
This is, we're about to see the one impressive effect in this
looks really cool at first.
Yeah.
Crypto.
Hi, Crypto!
Oh.
Crypto is adorable.
Take me home.
So far, and I'll get back to this, he does look like he's in character.
That little girl's
right?
neck is
I want to
broken.
go back. Because, you know, he gets there. He gets there. He's like, hey, master, you look like you're hurt. I can take you home. I can take you home. I can take you home.
That
and
little girl's neck is
that
broken.
Was fine. Oh, what?
That little girl's neck is broken.
Yeah, I know.
He didn't have to push her head down like that.
Like,
his shoulders cover where her head was.
It's like that one anime where the demon girl grabs the two girls, holds them tight, and breaks both their backs. Horrifically.
I know the scene you're talking about, but I have no idea what the show is called.
Me neither. I've only ever seen the clip, and also those two little girls survived. They're also demons. So.
Oh yeah, no, of course they were.
No, but no, like Crypto so far in that scene seems to be in character.
Yeah, he's
doing
all right. Now, Crypto is famously a white lab, not a miniature collie, but you know.
That okay, I do understand that. I don't mind personally because I listen. Hang on, I'm gonna go back a little bit. Look at that cute motherfucker.
That is a cute looking face. Aw.
Yeah, it's so fucking cute. It's like, hey, you look hurt. Are you okay? Do you need help? Are you okay?
I can take you home. Crypto's cape goes back and forth between looking real and looking fake as shit in this.
Yeah.
As
I will say most of the effect is good, and I'll rant about Crypto when we get there because it becomes an issue. But so far, that looks good. That looks like the best part of the trailer. But he'll ruin it. Don't worry. And she's dead. Her neck is completely shattered. There's Lex Luthor overacting, which we'll get to.
Luthor Corp and the fucking revolver. Why is it called Luthor Corp instead of Lex Corp?
Hang on, I want to point this out. I don't know. There's something off with this casting. Like, he should fit, but I think it's the face. I don't know.
I think it's the eyebrows. His eyebrows look too friendly. They've clearly tried to shape them to make him look more aggressive, but Nicholas, what's his name? Nicholas Hoult. Nicholas Hoult has a really good face for playing Beast in the X-Men. He doesn't have that great of a brow for like the aggressive, condescending Lex Luthor face. Now, if
someone joined and left us again. Who did that? Okay, continue.
Okay, I'm gonna. I just said whoever's leaving, you can stay and watch the trailers with us if you want. I think that might be Shinigami.
Oh.
Yeah, Nicholas Hoult, he doesn't quite have the same face for the role as Jesse Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg has that I won't say he has the Mark Zuckerberg face, because even though he played Mark Zuckerberg, he does look a hell of a lot more human than Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg still looks like a fucking alien. But he does have that sort of aggressive, I am better than you in every way, shape, and form kind of facial expression, and he can do that very well. Which is funny, because he's actually, from what I've gathered, he's actually kind of a nice guy in real life.
And there's a weird shot.
Oh yeah, apparently they like changed lenses in the middle of this shot for some reason. Now, I saw a bunch of people applauding the efforts that they went to make this happen. I don't really think that you
It
should be
doesn't look
applauded
good.
for making something more complicated when it doesn't look good, because I've seen
'cause
other
I
movies do
watch
stuff like this. Like Zack Snyder achieves this by
What?
shooting with... Yeah, that
you
shot right
pointed,
there.
yeah.
I've seen Zack Snyder achieve this by using 2-3 cameras synced up and shot simultaneously so that you can cut between them seamlessly in order to achieve a much better looking effect. This is just them doing like a lens change in the middle of the
look,
shot
this is
and
the
asking for
perfect
praise.
frame I got. This is the perfect frame I got to show how wonky this looks.
Yeah. Because you've got
Yeah.
it looks like you've got 2 different lens flares coming onto the screen because of the way they're changing the lenses.
Yeah.
And the
looks
wind-up's a little bit weird, but people, other people have already discussed this one to death.
And we have the middle. Hang on, we want to go back there. We have the Middle Eastern plot line that James Gunn claimed wasn't in film. For context, Grace, one of the scoopers in the industry.
Oh yeah,
she's a piece of
Grace
shit, by the way.
Randolph. Yeah,
Yes,
Grace Randolph is horrible.
She reported that James Gunn's Superman was going to have a Middle Eastern plot line, taking where the military is doing its thing and Superman intervenes and whatnot. James Gunn came out and said that's bullshit, that's a lie. And then he releases this.
And then this trailer comes out.
And you see people in Middle Eastern outfits and the like. And I was talking to a friend who in the Dep House who wasn't sure of it. It's like I see people in like African uniforms as well. It's like that's true. And I told them to take a second look, and they did. And like, oh shit, you're right. There's like those kind of outfits as well.
This could be in like not necessarily the Middle East. This could be somewhere close to there.
It could. It's either a made-up location, like in Blue Beetle City,
like,
the movie location that's made up, or it's in a fictional location in like the DC universe.
Yeah,
and that's just. But here's the thing: it's stand-in for the Middle East.
Yeah,
it's
so
going
that's
to be a stand-in.
Yeah, and people will say, "Oh, this is the Middle East." So this is another thing. The final trailer that we're going to be talking about today reveals that this apparently takes place early in the film.
Yes, because like the link said.
Yeah, which where did Discord go? Now we're not lighting up. Okay, there we go. So yeah, the leak said that there's an interview with Lois and Superman early in the film, and then in the next trailer that we'll get to, they talk about this sequence, or what appears to be this sequence. If this sequence happens later on, that's another thing. But if... Okay, so in the Injustice comics, there's a civil war in the Middle East, and like 2 sides are fighting, and as part of Regime Superman's first act of like, you will do what I say kind of thing, he intervenes and forces them to stop fighting. And I kind of feel like that's something that Superman should have been doing anyways. Yeah, we'll get to this, but James Gunn has proven himself to be either wildly dishonest or wildly unknowledgeable about his own work. And we've still got the fucking vignette around the camera. What use is shooting this shit for IMAX if you're just gonna put a fucking vignette around the fucking lens?
Alex,
shadows towards the edges. It almost...
Oh, Vose, what the fuck? Now I see it. God damn it.
Yeah, that stuff that's up on the edges.
Wow, that actually plays too. God, it's not even like a frame thing. Also, civilians just blew the fuck up in the background.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, we're about to see the fucking flinch from the can thrown to his head.
Yeah, which we'll get back to, but James Gunn edits that out.
Yeah,
which is fun.
And like, I saw somebody on YouTube. I saw somebody on Twitter say, kudos to James Gunn for taking fan feedback on board, but that should have never made it to the first trailer in the first place.
Funny, because I've seen more of his fans bitch about saying that it takes away his humanity by removing it.
I mean, he can. He's literally been shot in the eye with a 45 and not even moved. And granted, we are talking about Ralph here, but it's still Superman. Superman is still bulletproof.
That's Roof. That Roof is Reeves' Superman.
Yeah, and if you're wondering, it's literally canon that Superman 1, 2, 3, and 4 are canon to Returns, because they talked about it in the CW Crisis show.
We have Superman. Oh, I forgot to point out something. I need to go back
Industries.
I want to point out something. James Gunn, this is the first time we'll see this, but he's taking a plot line from Batman versus Superman.
Kinda, yeah.
It's not the exact same shot, but it's a shot where he's at when he's going to the
Capitol building,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, the Capitol building and all the people around him. He's more close up to the people here than there, but it is still the same shot.
Yeah.
And again, he's not smiling. He's all edgy.
And he's inside the Stag Industries building.
Edgy Superman. He's not smiling. He's not smiling, Alex. This is a problem.
Yeah.
This is a big problem. He has to smile. He always has to smile.
We're about to get
I need to take over the next
casting in this entire film.
Well, no, fuck you. I need to do this. I fucking hate this casting. Nothing wrong against the actor. I think he can have some fine roles. This turns Guy into a joke. Here's the thing, right? I get it. He is kind of a joke in the comics. Sometimes the animated series. But you want to know what he also is?
He's also a tough son of a bitch who stands up for his friends.
Absolutely. He's one of the biggest badasses in the series. The way he died in the recent run was fucking awesome. He goes out like a fucking hero. And yes, he can be a bit of a goof. He can be arrogant. He can be an arrogant son of a bitch. But he can also be a fucking badass. He's a badass character with an arrogant attitude. That's the point. I don't see that at all with this casting, and everything they showed, like the little Super Bowl clip of him, makes him seem like a complete fucking joke.
Yeah, so in case anybody doesn't know, rather than releasing a trailer with the Super Bowl, as you would have thought would be sensible for this film, they instead released this teaser to the Puppy Bowl, and James Gunn put out a clip of Nathan Fillion, our Guy Gardner for the evening, checking up his bowl cut. I actually can't because it won't play in watch together.
Oh, I know, but I meant pull it up on your stream so people know what you're talking about.
If you can find it for me, I will.
Sure.
But it's just, this is the only bowl I need or whatever the hell, and Nathan Fillion checking his due, Now here's something I gotta complain about. Nathan Fillion is the perfect Green Lantern if he was playing Hal Jordan. And he has been Hal Jordan in various projects for a very long time. And I would have loved to see Nathan Fillion play that role. But instead we got a different person playing Hal Jordan, and I'm a little bit miffed about that. And we're not getting Guy Gardner in any serious capacity, and that makes me sad. Also, Isabella Merced is incredibly hot, and she's not a bad choice for Shira, but they're just gonna fucking waste her in this, and as we've already seen in the oh yeah,
play it.
Yeah.
This is why I don't
That's not even the same haircut.
You God fucking damn it! Are you fucking kidding me?
Okay, so here's the shot. Here's the shot of the haircut here, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna send this to you.
No, I'm on. Okay, yeah, thank you.
And now we're gonna pop over.
Oh
that is not the same fucking haircut.
Yeah, send me a screenshot of that so I can compare.
Oh no, I'm just looking at the
Oh, fucking... Hang on, let me get a better shot of this. Hang on. Let me go back. Ah, damn it. Hang on. So close. Hang on. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Oh, you sent me a way better screenshot. Okay. But yeah, no, like, this is... Like, I'm worried he's going to make him... no, I'm not worried. I know for a fact he's going to make him a joke. Remember what they did with Adam Warlock?
Oh god,
It's going to be the same.
Adam Warlock is an awesome character in Marvel Comics, and they turned him into a fucking idiot.
That's the thing, right? People always say, oh, he's going to be comic accurate. James Gunn's entire work in the comics, movies, has never been comic accurate. Very rarely, unless a writer is doing it for him. Like his first Guardians of the Galaxy script, which is his best script that he stole. But like again, like another example is the High Evolutionary. I've seen a lot of people have... Yeah, he was neat in the movie, but if you compare him to the comics, a ton of issues arise. I noticed someone in the Death Isle Discord that really hated this version of the character.
Well, it's like with Drax. Drax is superficially... I think Drax might be the one character he got the closest to the comics at first, and then as time went on, it became worse and worse. So Drax was at first, because Drax in the comics is sort of a straightforward-minded character who he takes things seriously and puns go over his head, that kind of thing. And he is the kind of guy who would say, nothing goes over my head, I'd catch it, and that would be hilarious. And then as time goes on, he just becomes stupid.
Yes, I will say, perfectly casted with Batista. His best movie role, easily.
I love Batista in that role as well. I wouldn't necessarily say it was his best. I've seen Batista in a few things now, and I like him as an actor. But yeah. Yeah,
he's also in Army of the Dead. One of the main characters.
Did you know that he was the original choice for Peacemaker?
I do remember that. Yeah, he was offered Peacemaker, and then he was offered Bane, which he declined both.
Bane, I think he should do. Bane would be an awesome turn for him.
James Gunn wanted him to do Bane. Batista refused because he thought he was too old for the role and it would have been too intense for him.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair, because that guy has been through some shit in his wrestling career, and I would not
Have you seen how skinny he's gotten for some roles recently?
Oh no, he's not skinny. He's my size. He's 220.
Okay. I guess he just looks skinnier in comparison to him, being all buff.
Oh yeah, that's skinnier than he was wrestling, but like he's still a buff son of a bitch. Like he's 220 and I'm 215, and he's in way better shape than I am, and I'm not in bad shape myself.
Oh yeah. I wasn't saying he was in bad shape. I meant like he got skinnier.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
It's just like it's a night and day, man.
Yeah, I'm just saying. And it's like people were saying, "Oh, he looks sickly and shit," and it's like, no, he's 220 pounds. He's a fucking muscle built bodybuilder still.
Yeah, Batista's like the best. But anyways, we're getting off track. But yeah, like when it comes to I want to pause for a second. Again with comic accuracy, if you want more examples of him getting it wrong, we'll get to one example later. But the main examples outside of the Marvel stuff is Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. Yep. And Alex, you want to rant about Peacemaker for a minute, because you know more about the character than I do.
Go watch our Peacemaker videos if you want to see me rant about Peacemaker, because Peacemaker is a great character. He's taken from Charlton Comics, and his whole shtick is that he will commit violence, but he will not kill, but he will go to extreme lengths for peace. And James Gunn saw he will go to extreme lengths for peace, and he created the I will fight for peace no matter how many men, women, and children I have to kill to get there.
That's James Gunn. He'll look at the bare minimum, and then he'll take that.
And he took the fact that he's haunted by his dead Nazi father and tried to make an entire series out of that and failed.
Mm-hmm.
I love Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Peacemaker's a great character, and they fucked him up. And James Gunn cast the right guy for the role, and they fucked it up.
It's interesting because I do think John Cena was the best part of
I
those
know.
movies and shows. But again, like James gonna look at the bare minimum of the comics. He'll look at covers and a few descriptions and
He
writings.
does the
and be
Adi
like, okay, that's all
Shankar
I need.
thing.
That's all I need. Superman. We gotta win back a bit. Here we go. There's
No, I went back on purpose. Dude.
Oh shit! It changed videos. Hang on, I'll fix it.
Stop trying to fix things.
I'm ruining everything.
Yeah.
Wait, I'll pause it. Hot girl. I want to mention something about Superman.
Is this where you wanted to pause?
No, hot girl. It's a bit more forward. Not there. You're not even close.
Okay,
There.
hang on.
There.
No, we need to go back because I was trying to pause on something else.
We're gonna fight over this forever.
This right here. What the hell are you doing, guy?
I think he's covering the windows with his willpower so that people can't see in it. That's what I'm thinking.
Why is it just shooting green mist at it? Why isn't he just... Actually, no, this is a Jeff Johns thing. I know this has to be a Jeff Johns thing because for some reason Jeff Johns just decided that Green Lanterns can't use constructs for a bunch of things. And that was why the Green Lantern in ZSJL could only shoot lasers when previously in the Justice League version he was using, big hammers and things like that. Fuck you, Jeff Johns.
So before we go on,
just
I want
conjure a wall, dude.
I want to mention something before we keep going.
Hi, I'm Guy Gardner. I'm going to build a wall and make the press pay for it.
I was even what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm riffing. This is why we're here, Ben.
Guy Donald.
Done in my best Nathan Drake impression, which is not very good.
We're gonna build a wall around Superman.
I haven't practiced it very much.
Lex Luthor really tries to build a wall around Superman. Superman's like, okay.
Listen, we're going to build a wall around Superman, and we're going to make Krypton pay for it. No, we're going to make Batman pay for it.
Planet.
Oh, he did that in Superman Returns, kinda.
Okay, so one thing I noticed, and this is weird, he's taken some plot elements from Black Adam. You know, with the Justice fighting how they confront the main quote-unquote hero.
He's just taken Carter's wife and put her in the film, and Carter's nowhere to be seen. Yeah,
Carter's just gone. Side note, Carter was perfectly cast in Black Adam.
The entire Justice Society was great in that movie.
Yeah, no, they were like one of the best parts. Also, before we continue, Hawkgirl's first official line we hear in the DCU is about her ass.
Yeah.
Her first spoken line's about her ass. And you know what? That doesn't surprise me. He literally has a top 50s list of DC characters he would sleep with. No one should be surprised.
I mean, I'm not gonna bag on the man for being a pervert in that regard. You know, we do have the waifu tier list that we spent way too many episodes on. But I am going to say that some of the things he said are a little bit strange.
You want to talk about the Six Flags comment he made? No. Yeah, you know what? That would get us banned.
I'd rather not at the moment.
That would, wait, quick question about
Godzilla.
That's the girl who played. Yeah, that's the girl who played Dora, right, in the live-action movie.
Isabella Merced. I can't remember. I do know that she is playing Dina in The Last of Us Season 2, and you know, I didn't know that you could do something worse than the video game, but you know, they're handling Dina's pregnancy about 50 times worse than they did in the game.
Alex, listen, off topic, but how else are you going to do part 2? You're either going to make it worse or bad. There's only like two directions you can.
I mean, there's another option they could have gone with.
Suicide?
There's a fourth option they could have gone with. Side note, I can totally tell that this was, by the way, I can totally tell that this was shot in Ohio. I have driven past these buildings.
Yeah, most of the film was shot in Ohio. There are three.
I was in Ohio while they were filming this. I wanted to go be an extra in the film, but I got sick.
You got the flu.
Like the day that was going on. I felt like I had a fucking ice pick stabbed through my head.
Yeah, that was when they were doing reshoots, right? Because I think that was when they were doing reshoots.
I believe so. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, because that was when they were doing the major reshoots.
Yeah. Random kaiju fight, breathing fire on a building. That's definitely not collateral damage. What's that?
I wonder if that's based off something in the comics. Also, okay, I need to point this out. I know some people say I'm nitpicky, but he's literally letting a giant jellyfish destroy the city while Guy is suffering in the background.
Okay, granted, we don't know what the hell is going on here. This could just be a light show, a recreation of something that already happened.
No. In some
I'm
shots,
trying to play devil's advocate.
No. In some shots, we see Guy Gardner fighting it with like the Green Lantern ring and not being able to do anything about it. And Superman is just too busy trying to get into Lois Lane's pants while this is all going down. I know I'm missing context. I'm sure context makes this look slightly better, but it still looks bad, guys.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here? Like, this is like, no. Like, this is like that was one of the most important shots in the, not most important. It was like the most prevalent, right? Because
that was the teaser image.
Yeah, that was the teaser
That was the first look where we saw him putting on the stupid suit.
He's taking his sweet time, putting it on, and the city's just being destroyed in the background. And again, people bitched about that with Henry Cavill too. And there's a bunch of examples where he does the same thing here. It's like, what the fuck?
Arguably does worse. Yeah, we have context for the Hi, Metamorpho. Yeah, we have context for the dead row.
Okay, this look looks better. This looks more like Lex Luthor.
Yeah. It's probably because we don't have like the down slope eyebrows here. Here, the upwards sloping eyebrows here make it look more aggressive. Let me see if I can find it here.
Okay, now it looks good. That looks better. And there's Superman laying a building fall.
Yeah, here's a shot. No, that's not what. Oh, Baravia.
Yeah, that's the location. There's the name drop.
Yeah, so we have context for this. Apparently, these are the Superman robots that we'll see in the next one, and Lex is the one who did this here.
Yeah.
God, I hope... Hang on. I just want to say, God, I hope that this robot isn't the one that has a crush on him.
Oh, God. Let me get the plot leaks here, because I want to find the... Yeah,
Lex Luthor invades the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, so essentially, Lex is there. Should I read the plot leaks?
No, because we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, well, you know what? Yeah, we'll wait.
Lex Luthor invades the Fortress of Solitude.
Yep.
It's a Superman movie.
Also, that's from Superman Returns.
That happens in every fucking movie. It happened in Superman 2, it happened in Superman 4, it happened in Superman Returns, it arguably happened in Batman v Superman, and now it's happening here.
You're right, it technically did happen in fucking Return. You gotta be fucking kidding me. This movie doesn't have an original bone in its body.
Here's this legendarily terrible shot. Apparently that's Ultraman.
Yeah, Ultraman's in the film, shocker. But yeah, this shot looks a lot like the Flash. Oh, there's a good shot there.
Looks like he's got a man's head thrust through his chest. Hi, Mr. Terrific. This is... Yeah. I don't know what cameras and what lenses that the guy who does this stuff is using for this, but he needs to stop.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna play this for a second because this looks like
an ultra-wide-angle lens.
It looks like a shot straight from the Flash's third act. It does. Yeah. Like, look, it absolutely does. Because, again, it's from the same people, and it still does not look good.
Yeah.
And we get a shot directly from Man of Steel. Which one? I think it was the first one.
It was the last... So... So this
yes,
was,
it was. Yes.
in Man of Steel. They were descending from the jet after, or
Yes.
they. So after Superman destroyed the world engine over in India and came back and destroyed the ship in, like, the terraforming ship in Metropolis, and after the military, he sent the rest of the Sword of Morale back to the Phantom Zone. When Superman descends with Lois in his arms, this is essentially the same shot played in reverse.
Yes, it's essentially a reverse shot of that same scene. Just with
granted,
it
is indoors, but this has probably got a lot more witnesses.
Yep. Flies up. We see that shot a lot.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
and again,
why is she holding his wrist and not his hand? I'm surprised James Gunn didn't show up at the end saying, "Hey, go watch this at cinema, guys."
I don't know. Maybe I'll appear. Oh no, he didn't. But yeah, I can't. It doesn't really look like IMAX because again, they got like the corners, the black corners, as you pointed out.
Yeah, the weird vignette around the lens makes it look kind of claustrophobic. IMAX is usually more expanded than that. Go watch the IMAX scenes from BVS and ZSJL for that example, and from The Dark Knight for that matter.
The only film I've seen in IMAX was Black Adam. What does that say about me?
I didn't see Black Adam in IMAX, but I can imagine that it probably looked pretty good. Now here's a behind-the-scenes look from Superman Day.
I also got to see the head close-up of The Rock, like, in full quality.
Yeah, it used to be that we'd have the occasional scene that looked like that, and it was like, huh, that's a really weird shot. Why is it like that? Oh, it's gone. And now, aside from the Thunderbolts, it seems like every fucking movie has like 50 or 60% of the shots look like they were done by the D team.
Yeah. That happens a lot. It's kind of, I don't know why, but it reminds me of Postal 4, or not 4, Postal 3, where that was finished by the D team after the B team and the C teams got fired.
Oh yeah, we haven't. Did we get the scene of Superman flying towards the camera that looks really funky already, or are we? I
don't think we're there yet, but I could be wrong.
Okay, yeah, no, that's in a different teaser, but we'll get to that. So here's the behind-the-scenes look from Superman Day.
Being a child, I loved the purity of Superman. There was a time when I was starting to understand what movies were.
The vignette's gone in this shot. That must be because this is shot using the drone cameras, not whatever the Flash director is using.
James didn't know that Superman was in his future. He wasn't sure that that was the one he should be doing.
Yeah, for context, he was offered Superman
back in 2019, right after he was fired from Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Which is crazy.
You. Fuck you, Mike Cernovich. Fuck you very, very much for this.
It's crazy that Disney fired him led to him running DC.
Disney fired him, and then less than a week later, or it might have literally been a week later, rehired him. And Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was
him right after,
a fucking mess.
They rehired him right after DC hired him because they fucking panicked.
Yeah, the second he was announced for the Suicide Squad, they were like, fuck.
It's like, oh, shit! Pure fucking panic.
Why did we listen to Mike Cernovich?
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I will slightly defend Disney because James Gunn was nuking all of his tweets around that time in sheer panic, and that did not make him look good. That made him look way worse. If I was Disney, I'll be like, no.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy, but nothing good has ever come from listening to Mike Cernovich.
True. Also, side note, keep pausing for a second. I remember one specific story because Ray Fisher called him out on something, like one of his tweets that he deleted.
Oh yeah.
And James Gunn's like, "Oh no, I just have an auto
all my tweets auto delete."
Yeah. And then the date passed for that tweet to be deleted, and it didn't get fucking deleted. along with multiple other tweets that passed that date. You full of shit. Gunn.
Including that one tweet about how Polka Dot Man was like a self-centered attention whore, which wasn't at all supported by the film he released.
No,
it might have been
like,
in a deleted scene that was never on the Blu-ray, but you know, considering you're the fucking writer-director of the film, maybe you should have included that.
Yeah, why wasn't that anywhere included? Why was
And then he called me one day and he
cut?
said, I have a way in. I know what I want to talk about.
You know, you want to remake Batman v Superman with twice the budget and half the fucking wit and soul.
It's BVS Light, which we'll get to in the final trailer.
I had been trying to crack it for years.
We just gotta copy Snyder.
He needs the you shot that on the... You shot it in a... How did you make that look so fake?
They did. Oh my god!
They shot it on location and they made it look fake. This is Captain America 4 all over again, where they actually shot it in the fucking Sakura Garden, and the cameras they used and the lenses they used made it look like it was fucking CGI.
They actually did what I fucking suggested. Oh my fucking god!
Goddamn morons! You didn't even have to go on location for this shot. There's no reason to go on location for this shot. You could have shot it in the fucking studio. Now we know where the goddamn budget went. God, fucking damn it.
That is, oh my fucking god, that's the best fucking payout we ever had.
Scorpio crane out here, hovering a multi-million-dollar IMAX camera above Corrin Sweat in the fucking snow, and you didn't even...
This character's noble.
Oh
and
my
he's beautiful.
fucking god, that's so funny though.
And they immediately cut to the fakest shit-looking footage. How did you make that? We know that you shot it for real. How did you fuck it up this bad?
Oh my god, that is the funniest thing ever. This is the best night of my life.
Day one on Superman.
It's been a hell of a week at the office.
Why does he sound better in the behind the scenes than he does later in the trailers? Why does his normal voice sound more realistic than the fucking Clark Kent
Alex,
voice?
I got it. I know why. You want to know why?
James Gunn is a shitty director.
I was gonna say bad directing, but I guess that also works.
That's the same fucking thing.
These scripts are so
I was
unique.
being nicer. It's just being more. What's the word? Tasteful.
Nicholas Holt says that the scripts are so unique. Well, I'm sorry. I've seen this movie before.
Is that heartfelt?
We've seen this
You know,
movie
we
many
love
times
the
before.
opportunity.
Oh yeah, we've. Oh, that's a neat thing. The
Yes, I
robots
do.
are actually.
I will give credit. The robots look great because they're actually fucking real for the most part.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yes,
And
they're also very comic accurate, and that also deserves praise.
Yeah, they're not my favorite version of the Superman robots, but they do look kind of neat. Oh, here is the behind the scenes for the. Oh dear God. Okay, so when we get to that Superman 5-minute preview, this is gonna be another example of how did you fuck it up? Excuse me, how did you fuck it up this bad?
All right, let's
Love the opportunity to play with the incredible DC library
Fat
of
touching
characters
robot.
and stories.
There's the wig. There's the
No.
fucking wig. That's wig count 2.
Hang on, I need to see
And we really
because I think that might be a different shot because the hair doesn't look quite as bad.
want to do justice for them.
Welcome to the Daily Planet.
wanna
It's
go
been so
back
much
or-
fun to have.
No, I don't actually
Just
care.
go on,
It's
stop.
not that big of a deal.
Welcome
I want
to
to
the
stop at
Daily
this. Hang on,
Planet.
hang on. I want
It's
to
been
stop at this. I do want to give the movie praise on something here.
Yeah, the set design looks nice.
No, not that.
That
What's his name?
Metamorpho.
Yes,
Metamorpho
I
looks
like
really
him on
good.
here. Yes, here's the thing. He is a very hard character to get right in live action. And this is a very good take on it. It still looks wonky, but you can't really get a character like this fully correct on the silver screen. So, I applaud the effort. It looks very good. I think this is the best you could possibly do with this character. So, bravo, James Gunn. You did this one well.
Yeah,
Welcome
and I can
to the
imagine
Daily
the actor
Planet.
must have gone
It's
through
been so
hell
much fun
every
to
single
have the
day.
game together.
Like how it reminds me of Jim, as the Grinch had to go through CIA training to get through the makeup process because it was torture.
Yep.
Burned
There's Jimmy
his eyes.
Olsen. He has no. Jimmy Olsen does not have red hair for some reason.
Can we talk about the Jimmy Olsen side plot?
Oh yeah, the Jimmy Olsen side plot where he's like sexing with Lex Luthor's e-girl.
Let me find it in the leak. Give me a moment. Let's see. Let me find it. That's not it. Hang on. Yeah, it's in here somewhere.
I'm just gonna let this.
Play.
Ultraman.
Okay, I found it. So, at the Daily Planet, Jimmy Olsen behaves as expected, but with a twist. Girls obsessively fawn over him, and he can't escape their attention. I think there's more here. Let's see. No, that's not it. Yeah, you keep playing it.
Okay.
I wear my trunks on the outside of my pants. Like, it's liberating.
There it is. I found it. Okay. So Lex Luthor has
trunks. I hate how the trunks are sewn into the pants, and they're like. It looks like they're riding down his thighs.
I can see his crotch.
They should have just left them off. They've been left off for a reason. Like, well,
to be fair, I will defend Gunn on this. Snyder also wanted the underwear, but Warner Brothers said no.
Oh yeah, it was a New 52 synergy thing, and they wanted to remove it. And here's the thing: you can make them look good. There's a reason, and you know we saw that they can look good in Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's one of the few good things that movie actually did. Well, extended television miniseries thing,
which had its own issues. Not
had a
surprisingly.
lot of its own issues.
That was supposed to have Keaton, but when the Flash tagged Keaton, they had to remove him. And before that, they were supposed to have Adam West as the main Batman, but he passed away before he could do it very early in development. I did find the thing though.
Yeah.
Lois and the Justice Gang discovers Superman's location through Jimmy, who had been secretly sexting Luthor's girlfriend. She's obsessed with Superman, and her prerogative photos unintentionally reveal confidential data, paying off the whole storyline where girls are fawning over him.
Lex Luthor's nudes, or not Lex's nudes, but his girlfriend's nudes lead to the solving of this entire plot, I betcha.
God. Continue.
Okay, so he does it with...
Go back for a second. Yeah, I'm trying to.
He looks so perfect as Hal Jordan, just naturally. Look at that. Oh, that's Hal Jordan.
It does.
Oh yeah. So this is apparently the LexCorp. The LexCorp goons in the prototype war suits. I like these war suits. Those look neat.
Yes.
I don't know who she is. Cool. I'm betting that she is either Mercy. Well, I'm betting that she's either Mercy Graves or Tessmacher.
I think, if I remember correctly, she's the engineer in the movie.
Right, but I'm betting that she's either Mercy or Tessmacher because...
Oh, that's what you meant,
yeah.
James in his stories, he does...
Yeah, he does look like an older and more experienced Hal Jordan.
Yeah, that's Hal Jordan. That you can't say that because that's just how he looks in real life. That's how he normally styles his hair. Even if you'd have just said this is Guy Gardner as it is, I would have just rolled my eyes and been okay, whatever. But you put him in that stupid orange bowl cut.
Does it with heart?
I don't know about the heart thing.
It still bugs me that she's holding his wrist, not his hand.
Yeah, is she afraid that he's going to crush her hand?
His fucking every girlfriend, and she's not.
Superman is a character who's good.
Who is filled with hope.
Filled, okay, he doesn't look like it in this, but...
He saves people because it's the right thing to do.
In nearly every shot we see...
We could use a little bit more of that.
Superman was my original superhero, and it started in comics.
Go back. Hang on, go back.
superhero, and it started.
He looks nothing like the animated show.
No.
No,
We
talked about
his
this during
beard
the
is black. His hair is only just starting to go gray.
Yeah. Can you get a screenshot of what he looks like in the show, and then show a screenshot of what James Gunn looks like in the show?
I mean, I can pull up the. Assuming that I still have it, I can pull up the poster.
Yeah, go ahead. Because he looks like James Gunn in the show.
Oh yeah, that was the reason why I edited James Gunn's face over him on the.
And I think it's going to be.
Don't stop playing it. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. That's better. There we go. You got the shot. I was trying to get the shot of it.
There we go. Okay, so yeah, so that's the unedited Creature Commandos poster, right there.
Yeah.
And if I can just pull up movie image, see if I can.
Yeah,
make that
James Gunn was in like
larger.
every episode of Creature Commando for the intro. He looks more like James Gunn than he does the actor.
Yeah, so
and
this...
the princess in the show is modeled after his wife, which made that even creepier.
Yeah, so this is the blonde is the princess, and the guy with the white hair is supposed to be this guy.
You see the issue with this universe, right?
Man, we don't even know if this is let's see, transform, fit to screen. Where did my fucking image go? Transform, reset, transform.
Technical difficulties on the Methley crew, everybody. Happens every stream.
Every goddamn stream. Where are you?
Every single one.
Transform. Center to screen.
I was putting a lot of work into
Where
this
did
gag.
you go? I was trying to...
I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab my charger so my phone doesn't die on me.
Yeah, go ahead and do that while I'm trying to fix this.
Talk about pigeons while I'm gone.
I don't know anything about pigeons, so that's going to be difficult. You're pigeonholing me about pigeons, and frankly, I don't appreciate that. Does it show up if I just change the image? Seriously, where did you go? Where did my image go? Because I was trying to just undo the set there. I'm just gonna...
You really are losing it, aren't you?
I might be.
I think we've been at this for an hour almost.
Almost. Blending mode.
Oh my god.
Scale filtering. Order. It's at the top of the order. Edit, transform. Position, rotation, size. Alignment. Center.
Appreciate Alex for all his hard work, everyone. Appreciate it.
Why is it not here? It doesn't matter. I'll figure this out later.
And I think it's going to be a game changer.
This is the beginning of the future. They are launching a
whatever his name is, Eddie Gathagi, Mr. Terrific.
new era right now.
It's the beginning of a whole new adventure and a whole new universe.
Alex, look up. It's a mosquito.
Oh dear.
We're just getting started, and we're already deep in the DC universe. In James Gunn, we trust, and I think we can do it.
I hope so.
That's going to age really badly if this film flops.
Yeah.
It needs to make a lot of money to break even. It needs a lot of fucking money. It needs so much money. All right, next up, the sneak peek. This is where I get to rant about one of my biggest issues in this movie.
Oh, god damn it.
Alex, we can't skip half.
I did not click that.
We see some decent shots on location, apparently. Again, Superman's just crippled and dead. Poor Superman. He's not having a good day. He's about to lose hundreds of millions of dollars for Warner Brothers again. Really
Visual effects still don't look good. It almost looks like they've cut him out of the shot to add that blue shadow underneath him. it's
spitting out ketchup.
it's uncanny. This actually reminds
yeah.
me of the post-processing that Lowry Digital did to Iron Man and Captain America and stuff like that.
Here comes the biggest proof that James Gunn does not read the source material. Fucking Crypto beating the absolute shit out of Superman. Agony. It's not even funny.
No, Crypto has now changed size. Crypto is now smaller.
There's the meme shot. There's the meme shot.
His body looks like it's CGI now, and I know they shot this on location. So
CGI is impressive for Crypto. Okay,
sometimes.
let me start my rant. This is not Crypto. This is some random fucking dog. If you've read the comics, you know anything about the comics, you've seen any of the animated series, if you've seen the recent animated series that The Rock shoehorned himself in somehow, I don't know how he did that. Black Adam has a dog in that one. It was weird. This is not Crypto. This is a stereotype of a dog, the stereotype we've seen in millions of fucking films. Crypto is a lot smarter. He's not as smart as Superman because, you know, he's a dog, but he's still relatively smart. He understands people, understands when Superman or the others are hurt. He can take initiative. He can fight. He can save people. He doesn't, you know, and here he's just beating up on Superman like, oh, I'm going, he's like that. And it's like, that's not Crypto. That's some random fucking dog.
I remember after this came out, I looked on the DC Wiki, and their official listing for Crypto's intelligence is human average or higher.
Yes. And again, it goes to show that James Gunn only looks at the bare minimum with the source material. Take a quick look, close it, and be like, that's all I need to know.
Now, I gotta mention something here. So I was running down the road with my dog. You know, slipped on a pile of leaves, fell and tumbled across the field. And she could have either kept going or she could have just, you know, left, come over here, and like jumped on me and was like, "Hey, get up." But no, she stopped, she came back. Like the second she realized I wasn't still beside her, she stopped, she came back, she sniffed on me, and was like poking at me with her nose, was like, "Hey, are you okay?" Not hopping up and down on me like a fucking moron.
I'll tell my story too. I do want to clarify. I understand that some dogs in real life will do this. Yes. I understand that. Crypto is not a normal dog. He's not a stereotype of a dog. No. He's a lot smarter. He's shown to have a good degree of intelligence. And this mischaracterization bothers me because it's going to completely destroy the character in the comics and in other source material. Assuming the movie does well. If it doesn't, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, they did turn Black Adam to The Rock for a while in the comics, and that didn't do too well, so I don't fucking know. But here's my story, right? When I was living in the apartment, well, I still am. I'm walking the dogs, right? I used to have Cooper and Tommy. They both passed away. And there's this ditch, and I didn't see it because I was new walking there. So I twisted both my ankles in that fucking ditch and landed face first in the grass. And both my dogs just stopped and stood there like, huh? And they're just looking at me like, "Are you okay?" And Tommy's coming up, he's licking my face. And Cooper's just standing there waiting for me to get like, "Are you okay?" And it was like, "Oh, my babies, I'm sorry." And, they were just very sweet. They were very nice. They were like, "You okay?" And then sometime after Tommy passed away, I was walking Cooper in the morning. And I fell fucking hard. I split my knee open. I hit my head on the ground on the pavement, and Cooper's standing because he's on the edge above me, and he's like looking up, and as I'm slowly getting up, he's licking my face like, "Are you okay? Are you okay? That looked like it hurt. Are you okay?" And my knee's covered in blood. It fucking hurt, man. But again, like even with some dogs, again, not all pets, I get it. Not all of them are like this. But a lot of them, like our examples, for example, fucking know. They know. And again, like, this just feels like a disrespect to Crypto. And I said that multiple times. I'm repeating myself. But a character like this deserves more respect, not whatever Gunn's doing. I feel
Now-
like we definitely, like.
Yeah,
let's
now
continue.
another thing, I actually, I was walking my dog one time, and this is he's a different dog. He like zigged right in front of me and tripped me, and I like fell over him and landed on my, like right on my knee, and I've still got a scar on it. And he was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, that kind of attitude. And I was like, yeah, it's okay, buddy, it's okay.
I've had Tommy's done
I
that
picked
to
myself. Now he wouldn't have jumped on my fucking injured leg. He would have drugged me home if I'd have needed that. But I was able to pick myself up and limp both of us home after that. Thankfully, we were only a couple of feet down the road when that happened.
Here's a funny story I remember. There was a time when Tommy was trying to catch a cat, and he got stuck between a bunch of weeds in a bush and couldn't get out, and Cooper was grabbing both of his back legs and trying to force him out, like, I'm gonna get you out! I'm gonna get you out!
Yeah.
My mom and the neighbors had to cut him out from the other side just to free him. It's funny because our issues are fixed in the teaser.
Yeah.
All you have to do is cut the scene out.
All you have to do is cut it. Yeah, you just cut this down onto him saying to him stopping, and he flips his cape over and he says home, and then Crypto just pulls him along. Granted, Superman is currently out in the sun.
Yeah, I mean, there's clouds. I get why it wouldn't have much of an effect, but
sunlight,
it's still
that just scatters the sunlight. It doesn't damage it.
True. It's just less sun ray. Fucking whatever. We'll get to like one of the worst aspects of this scene. And I want you to play a clip after this.
Oh god. So for those of you who are unaware, that is the door opening sound effect from Doom, which Warner Brothers has been using in fucking everything for a very long time. So it's not from Doom, I understand. It's from the General Series 6000 sound effects collection. It's not the only sound effect that was used for the doors in Doom. I'm aware of that. But when I hear that, it pops off a thing in my head, because I know what that's from, and it's easily, Kevin says including 03 Teen Titans and Justice League 2001, yeah, it was used quite heavily in those, and it's not, I'm not going to criticize too heavily for using a piece of stock sound effect, a piece of stock audio in something like this. It's how you do audio. It's just, I've seen so many DC things over the years, and this shows up in all of them. And it's a little bit weird. For as much as this movie cost, I feel like they could have hired a Foley artist to create some original sound effects for it.
Like Snyder would?
No, Zach wouldn't have necessarily created 100%, because there are some stock sound effects used throughout Man of Steel, BVS, Justice League, and especially through like Wonder Woman and Aquaman, but it's one of those things where it would have stuck out a little bit less. As the sound for Cyborg, Sonic Cannon, and the Green Lantern ring sound, yes, either slowed down or sped up for pitch shifting, yes.
Alright, fair enough.
Superman!
And here comes one of the worst lines in this entire fucking movie.
That's an interesting shot there, just showing the Man of Steel's butt as he's drug across the floor by his dog.
Don't play yet. Look at the dog. He's like, what? Oh. Oh.
The CGI dog is looking directly at the camera. Usually that's an issue for real animals. You didn't have to include that with your fake one.
I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to look at the robots, but he's just looking at the camera. I don't know how you fucked that up.
This is and this is not the last time that he's going to be looking directly at the camera, despite the fact, hi, Alan Tudyk once again being wasted in a DC property. Yes.
It's not a real dog. It still looks at the camera. Keep playing, keep playing.
Hey, Coronel.
Becomes the worst line ever. Silence for this.
This is not Kryptonese that's playing in the background. I don't know what it is.
Thank you.
No need to thank us, sir, as we will not appreciate it. We have no consciousness whatsoever. Merely automatons here to serve. Meet 12. She's new.
He looked at me.
So fucking awful.
So that is a Superman's cape magically disappeared in an earlier frame. Ah, I didn't notice that. That's a good note, Kevin. So that right there, that's a joke that James Gunn stole from The Incredibles. Except that it made more sense in context. Because Violet is a human being.
This movie lost all originality. Fuck this movie. Oh my god.
He looked at me.
Whatsoever. Merely automatons here to serve. Meet 12. She's new.
Okay, he's... Let's see here.
Yeah, it's gone.
There.
It's gone right there.
Yeah, there's no cape.
It's gone. It's actually gone.
Oh no, the cape was drawn out in front of him.
Thank you.
But it is...
No need to thank
it's not
us, sir,
real.
as we will not appreciate
That's...
We have...
Okay, yeah, so I can definitely see what's going on there. So if we go back to here...
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so we see that this has got to be one of those times where Corin Sweat is wearing the half cape model, and they just didn't think that people were looking that closely. So here you can see the cape right there. Then the cape is still there a little bit. It's just it's
no need to thank us, sir, as we will not appreciate it. We have no consciousness whatsoever. Merely automatons here to serve.
That has been the thumbnail for
She's new.
Countless.
He looked at me.
Yeah, that image of wounded Superman has been a thumbnail. And,
Damage to bladder, kidney, large intestine, lungs.
yeah.
With a healthy dose of yellow sun, we'll have you up and at 'em in no time.
I hate this because...
Level 4?
We'll get
292 times Saharan Prime, please, one.
These are the stupidest looking robots from the Fortress of Solitude I've seen in my life. They're not the worst I've ever seen. This is really stupid here. And now they're playing the Superman theme. Now they're playing the Superman theme as Superman is like writhing in agony from
fucking the thing
from the
that
sun.
fucking powers him.
Now
which doesn't
I've seen people speculate that this is actually Ultraman / Bizarro.
No, it can't be.
That would be really dumb, which makes me believe that it's possible. Kevin says John Williams' score needs to be retired. I agree. Superman 1 was the only one. Even John Williams' score for Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, was a little bit. Superman 1 was the only time I've really seen it used well. Superman Returns has some really good versions of it, but it's all just like, it's not like they rearranged it and made it work. It's just covers of the original Superman the movie score. Yeah. Dude's in his 90s and he actually needs to retire. I think John Williams actually is retired now. He just does little bits of music. He does like individual songs now, mostly.
Yeah. He doesn't do full scores anymore, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, his last full score was Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Oh, that sucks. Oh, yes, the thing that powers me hurts really fucking bad now. I can't get over that. That pisses me off. Like, even the worst fucking adaptation gets that right. How do you get the so less of the bare minimum of the source material that you think the thing that heals him hurts him even at his worst?
So I'm going to cite back to Batman v Superman when Superman literally came back from having been nuked.
Yeah. Yes, I was about to mention it. He literally got fucking nuked. And he was just like, oh, the sun. That feels so fucking good.
Yeah, it's like, it looked like it looked like he was descending into a warm bath. And this looks like he's being boiled alive.
The only way... Oh, you know, I just fucking realized, if it is Bizarro, that's how Lex Luthor is going to break into the fortress. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's what's going to happen.
I'd hope not. That would be really dumb, but, you know, James Gunn's last few films have had a lot of dumb things in them.
I don't even know how the plot would lean into that, which is why I don't think that's the case. But if it is, God, that's fucking stupid.
I mean, I
there's
didn't
a
know
worse
how they were gonna...
plot leak than that.
Yeah. You want to keep going?
I feel like we can skip the rest of this because it's just got to show old footage.
There's another thing at the end, actually.
Is there? You want to skip to it? Oh yeah, that new line from Lex.
Yeah, he said he's back.
Yep. There's wig.
There's the wig again.
There's the wig count. No, right there.
Okay, so
That's what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's a different shot.
Yeah, go back.
Him with the fucking coffee.
Now look. Guy is fighting it.
Guy Gardner's like, Clark, I need your help.
Help me, you fucking asshole! Stop!
There's an alien jellyfish. Can you stop trying to pork your lady friend and come help the fucking Justice League?
Help!
You know, I'm gonna call... If you don't come soon, I'm gonna call Homelander, and he's gonna kill everybody, but he's at least going to be here. Me, I'm Bizarro. Me, I'm really stupid. Me thinks James Gunn is smart.
I told you it was not a hologram. Guy is fighting it.
I know. I was just trying to be... I was just trying to be charitable to it, because it's like it's kind of funky looking enough that it might be, but that it might have been like some kind of Superman as Guy Gardner is doing superheroing, is running on a train. Lois Lane does a studio. Oh yeah.
It's so fucking stupid. Why? This is worse than any complaint about Man of Steel. At least Clark was trying in that movie.
Batman v Superman, and like.
So fucking infuriating, but so fucking funny.
Fucking on the kitchen countertop. That's way better than fucking in the fucking bathtub.
You know what makes it worse? Because Superman is super hearing, so he probably knows what's happening and just does not give a shit.
He can hear guys' horrified screams. He can hear the wails from Shira as she's getting groped by the tentacle monster.
You can't say that!
It's a James Gunn movie, it's possible.
That. Oh, shut the fuck up.
Meanwhile, in that piece I commissioned a while back with Ash, Superboy, and Supergirl are just in disbelief over Clark needing to put on his boots. Yeah, I remember that. Go check out that piece of fan art that Kevin commissioned, because it's really fucking funny. What is up with those stupid... Look at those stupid wrist rests. I know that they're supposed to be ergonomic, but everybody has them on their fucking... And you see this? These wrist rests on all these keyboards. I know that they're supposed to be ergonomic and help your wrist, but like I've used those, they hurt my wrist. Because it means that my arm doesn't sit at a natural angle.
I want to point out the fashion design to the left of Lois. What the fuck is she wearing?
Is that
orange
Cat
dress
Grant?
with white hair?
Is that Cat Grant? Excuse me.
You know what? I think it is.
She looks like a Dolly Parton impersonator. Excuse me.
Yeah, I do remember seeing her name on the list of characters that are in this film, so I think that is her. Just weird. It just looks a little weird.
This woman is not looking at the same thing that all of these people are looking at.
No, you're right. Now that's really distracting. What the fuck is the girl on the far right looking at?
Actually, yeah, none of these people from the right of this pillar onward are looking at the same thing that the other people are looking at. And
yeah, no, like that. Look at the guy. Look at the guy behind the blonde girl to the right. He's just looking at a weird angle. His head's
talking about
sideways.
Mustache Man?
Does he have a mustache?
Or are you talking about? Are you talking about the Limp Bizkit fan and off to the right?
The far right, right
with
guy
the backwards
behind
baseball
the girl.
cap.
Does he have a base? I can't tell. Oh yeah, he does. Yes,
yeah.
he does.
Nah, that guy looks like he's fucking stoned.
Yeah, his head's like tilted.
Yeah, that was more footage there, or of him spinning the revolver there. And there's more audio there.
I think Mr. Terrific looks good in this movie, by the way. I didn't mention that.
Yeah, Mr. Terrific looks... I hope that they do better with him here than they did in the fucking Arrowverse, where he was a Black Lives Matter, whatever. Or rich 1% black... Yeah, rich 1% black man gives a poor Hispanic man a lecture about police violence.
Oh god, they did not do that to his character in Arrowverse. You're lying to me.
No, that is... Okay, look up Spectre of the Gun. Better yet, just watch Kevin and I watch that video. Sorry, watch that episode. It's really fucking stupid.
Me really sad.
It's really stupid.
Sad.
That
you know what?
It is an episode... Ben, it is an episode about gun violence in a TV show where Malcolm Merlyn used an earthquake machine to destroy half the city, and Oliver Queen has spent several years killing people with a bow and arrow, and other people have spent several years killing people with bows and arrows. And
hang on.
Deathstroke killed a bunch of people with his swords.
Yeah. Yes, you can use swords and bow and arrows to horrifically murder people, but a gun, that's no good, sir.
And we have
You're the devil.
And we have superpowered people literally all over. There's the Flash in Central City, the metahumans.
Your idol should be Daryl. He uses a crossbow. He's your god now.
I love Daryl Dixon. Daryl Dixon's a great character. It's just a shame the show he's in is awful.
Doesn't he have a spin-off that takes place in France now?
I don't even know where they've gone. I stopped watching The Walking Dead a long time ago.
Oh yeah, they gave multiple spin-offs to characters, like Negan shares a spin-off with Maggie.
Yeah, Negan's
Daryl has his own spin-off.
So the actors who play Negan and Maggie played Thomas and Martha Wayne in Batman v Superman, by the way.
Yes, he was supposed to be Flashpoint, and then he got replaced by
I know, that made me so fucking mad.
He would have been so perfect to do that role, too.
And then he was fucking Tyler Durden in the last season of The Boys.
Mm-hmm. He was good in The Boys at the very least. I like the twist.
I hated the twist. I thought that twist was stupid.
Okay, that's
Kevin
fair.
says Mr. Terrific looks utterly stupid like everybody else does. I don't think he looks too stupid.
I think he looks fine. It's a comic accurate look at least. I think it's the best you could do.
The hair is a little bit much, but I think that is the actor's hair in real life. He did have that same hair in X-Men. So
Yep. Wait, was he the immortal character that couldn't die?
He's the guy who couldn't die. He played Darwin. Yes.
That's like the most racist death
JLU had a much better look for Mr. Terrific. I agree. JLU, Mr. Terrific looked pretty good. Kevin, would you mind banning the bot for me, please? If you're not a moderator, I can make you a moderator. Yeah, there's more footage of the robot dying. That had no fucking effect.
Go back. What number's the robot? Go back. Is it 4 or 12? Oh, we don't see it.
Can't see it.
We don't see it.
Look at that. That is completely fucking worthless, guy. Good job. The building dominoes bothers me because I've seen that somewhere else. Oh dear. Oh no.
What?
Oh my god.
What?
So, Ben, after The Last Jedi came out, I posted a tweet thread about how I would have improved the film, and it involved Luke Skywalker creating a set of, creating a domino effect with AT-AT walkers. And we know James Gunn is chronically online. I'm not saying he's read my tweet thread. It's just kind of funny.
He probably has at one point. If the Devil May Cry guy saw your tweet, James Gunn probably seen yours at least.
Man,
once
I
or
know.
twice.
I also know that Ryan Johnson has read some of my tweets as well. That's.
Yes, let's kiss while the city is destroyed. All right, now for the Milkbone advertising commercial.
Yeah.
I don't have much of an issue with it outside of
Milkbone.
Okay, so here's the thing from
is there for every.
Yeah,
Come
that
here,
shot
boy.
was from the.
For every. You want a treat?
Okay, yeah. So here's this now. This is just an example of the. We're in Metropolis Street in the middle of Metropolis.
Yeah, the shadows are a bit wonky. I know some people at the noticed that the top right looks off, and the shadows in like the bottom
It's the
right
lenses. They're
left.
shooting.
Yeah.
They're shooting with an ultra wide lens to try and fill out as much of the frame as they can. It doesn't work. It's like all those YouTubers who were just using fisheye lenses on their cameras because they were default. The shot looks incredibly bland and generic. Yeah. There's not a whole lot of energy to it. It's framed up kind of flat the way James Gunn does a lot of his comedy shots.
Yeah. I personally I know some people were bitching that he's playing with crypto. I think it's cute. I don't see how much of it.
I mean, I'd like to play. I wouldn't mind playing with crypto. Well, and I know how much of an irritation it is to try and get your dog back in the house when he's running around the fucking neighborhood. But you know,
oh my god, tell me about it.
Yeah, I once chased Max like 5 or 6 or no, I think it might have been about 10 or 11 times around this one house until he finally got tired enough and he decided he wanted to go back home.
Oh my god, I got a fucking story for you. I used to have this dog named Toby, this Tibetan Terrier. He was a master of escaping. There are 3 stories I remember. There's one story where he escaped from the house and the police chased him. The fucking police chased him. And they lured him with treats to the back of the police car where the police said he looked super guilty after getting locked in, like, oh shit, I've been had.
So you remember the dog
It gets better. Mom went to pick him up at the vet where they dropped him off, and he came out, didn't even acknowledge my mom. They thought he wasn't even the owner. This little bastard. The second story is that he escaped from our house and onto the highway. And someone, we don't know who the fuck this was, picked him up, put him in his car, drove to our house, went to the front door holding him and said, "Is this your dog?" The first fucking guess. He knew. He didn't even have an address on his collar. He just knew. I don't know how he knew, but he did. Like, it was his first guess.
Yeah.
And another story I have is that he escaped a similar distance. I caught up with him. I grabbed him by the car and I had to hunch over and slowly drag him back to the house because I knew he was going to bolt if I let him go. And I'm like, "You little bastard, I'm going to break my back bringing you home." And I had to walk him half a mile. My back twisted to the side and that hurt like hell.
Yeah. So that the story I told about the dog, the girl I had, she once escaped and ran around the whole not just the whole neighborhood, but the entire goddamn city with a couple who were bicycling around town. And she was just having the time of her life. And then she got back home and her feet were bloody. Didn't realize it until she had a chance to rest that, oh dear, I may have done something wrong to my paws. And she just kind of fell over. And then another time, the dog catcher was actually, she was stopped out. So the dog catcher, he was stopped right outside my house, and he like picked her up and got her with a like a milk bone or something, and she had jumped over the fence because she could, from a dead stop.
Oh my god.
Sally could literally, from a dead stop, jump like 7 feet in the air and clear any goddamn fence she wanted with air to spare. And she was a big dog, you know, black lab, not a small creature. She could stand up on her hind legs taller than I was, and I was like, I was like 12 or 13, but I was still like 5'10", 5'11" at the time, and I'm 6 foot now. But by that, like, she stood up taller than I was, and she, like, every time that she'd hear somebody at the door, she would howl. And then and then she would stand up and put both of her paws on either side of the door and just stand there looking out the door or out the window. Oh, if the blinds were down, she would poke her head through them and look out to try and see who was out there. And she...
Oh my god, yes,
I caught the dog catcher because I heard his radio through my window. Oh, I heard the engine of his vehicle. Oh, and that kind of sound that the radio was making. My dad had gotten up and let her out before I woke up, and this was before we knew that she was able to just jump over the fence. After this, she was not allowed outside without supervision, and except for one time where, like, the other time when she ran around the neighborhood, that was when my mom went out in the backyard with her, but she didn't realize that the other dogs had accidentally punched a hole in the fence.
Oh my god!
And that, because we'd put up these pre-built fence segments, right? And they were held in with not short staples, but still staples, not screws. And we had to go and put wood screws in every single fence board in the entire fence after that.
Dogs are smart.
They're smart, but sometimes they don't know what they're doing.
No.
Yeah, I raced down and I said, "Hey, you wouldn't happen to have a..." Because she was the only dog that I couldn't find. I'm like, I was going downstairs, and I went downstairs, I couldn't find her, and I was like, oh, that's the dog catcher outside. And I went outside in my pajamas, and I said, hey, you wouldn't happen to have a black lab in the back of your truck right now, would you? And he said, yeah, is she yours? And it was like, yes. She got out. She must have gotten out earlier, when my dad let her out, and we just didn't notice. And he was like, oh, okay. Hey, and then he opened up the back of his truck, and she, like, practically tackled me to the ground and was like, hi!
That's something Tommy would do. He was a small, but he could dash into you if he wanted to.
Kevin says, I've gotten shit from other people for some of those ways certain bits from early commissions I've done with Asher shot. Also, this ain't crypto. That's Bilbo Babowski's pooch. Between Bella and Luna, I had quite a time having to chase both dogs when they got loose. Yeah.
Same with Cooper and Tommy.
I can only imagine. Yeah. My dog Ralphie, he could, just like Sally, he could practically fly. And I can only imagine how difficult it is to try and figure out where a dog is that actually can fly. Yeah! Although this is some of the most blatant product placement I've ever seen. If they want to say...
To be fair, Man of Steel also has product placement.
Yes, but Yes, but it's funny to see, like, people standing this film when it's got the arguably more obtrusive product placement than Man of Steel, because I've been to a 7-Eleven, I've been to a Sears, I've been to a Lowe's, and I've been to an IHOP, you know?
And at the very least, you can give credits due. Man of Steel destroys most of those buildings anyways.
I remember in the...
Go script, to a 7-Eleven and you'll fucking die.
I remember in the I read the script for Man of Steel, and it just... The shot, you remember the shot of Superman looking at the destroyed Sears? Or is this like in the script notes and in the movie novelization, and he just thinks about how him and his dad used to shop there for tools and stuff. And he's like, damn it. And that
Okay, that I like that. I do like that. That's cool.
Crypto.
no.
For every good boy,
Not a
for
good
Superman's best friend.
Wait, I'm gonna pause
yeah.
it here.
So
That's cute. That's a cute shot. That's something Tommy would do to me. Aw, baby. That's
Now,
in character
okay.
for Crypto.
So here's the shot here. Smallville Giants. That's the old name for the Smallville football team from back in the 50s, 60s, 70s era. I don't think it's been called that since the mid 90s. I mostly remember it as being the Smallville Crows, but yeah.
And then
over here we have the Mighty Crabjoys, which is the band from Creature Commandos.
Yeah, his shitty way of creating a connective universe. Like, oh look, it's all fucking connected.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the laziest ways to do it. It's not even cool, right?
And now I'm gonna lean into the thing here because to the right, I believe we can see a model of the Starship Enterprise, a phaser from Star Trek. That might be a TIE fighter up here. That's either a yellow plane or a Nubian N1 starfighter. There's another thing. Oh, that's a Klingon bird of prey, I think. And then just down here, we've got a fucking bong.
Yeah, I'll get to the bong in a second. Here's a curious question. When you use TIE fighters and such, do you need to pay Disney to use that in, like, the background?
Yes.
Or is it, like, a fair use thing? Yes?
Well, they'll usually have to say that, like, Ben, am I mistaken, or is that white stuff on his suit?
Wait, I see a tiny bit, but I don't know.
I can't tell if that's supposed to be dust, dog hair, or the snow from the fucking Arctic scene. I hope it's not snow from the Arctic scene, because that would be really dumb.
That makes fucking sense. Yeah,
so
the bong I have an issue with.
Do you want to talk about the bong?
Yes, why? Why does he have a bong?
Okay, so Superman can't get drunk or high, or at least not without some kind of, severe non-human drug. So why would he have a bong?
Here's the thing with the drinking thing. I can see he's shared a drink with his Uncle Kent before.
Paul Kent, yes.
Like when they did that, DC censored it. I don't know if you remember that, Alex.
Well, I remember him and Jimmy going out for beers in Superman Returns, and Jimmy getting hammered, and Clark not even being phased.
Yeah. But like with the bong, why does he have that unless he did it out of curiosity as a teenager once? But that it feels more self-insert by James Gunn.
Yeah, if you're going so far as to, like, if somebody's passing around a bong at a party, sure, but why would you own one? If Pa Kent owned one, I could kind of understand that, medical marijuana and all that. He's getting kind of up there and help with his joint aches and stuff like that.
I can see that, but why is it in his son's room? Is it a backup bong?
This is Clark's room.
Did he share some of his medical marijuana with Superman to see what happens?
After his horrific run-in with whatever caused all those injuries from the other trailer, why is Krypto looking directly at the fucking camera in this shot? I am reminded that Krypto is not a real dog. And yet, it seems like he's just looking directly at the camera in several shots. And this is a problem that we have with real animals on actual sets sometimes. And with children, too. Children will look directly at cameras. And actors, adult actors will look directly at a camera if they don't have anything else to look at, and they're told to look up at something. I've seen that on a film set. I've actually done that by accident once, but this is a CGI dog. He could be looking wherever you want him to. Why is he looking directly at the fucking camera? Also, where'd the vignette go? Why is there no vignette around? Oh wait, no, it's over on the right-hand side of the screen. Never mind.
Treat your dog like a superhero with Milk-Bone. And don't miss Superman
Obvious,
in theaters July 11th.
Right.
This film is not yet rated.
Before we play the next trailer,
Yeah.
can you play the little tiny video I sent you?
The interview with...
No. The recent one. The Flash one.
Excuse me?
Bless.
God damn it.
Stop cussing. Stop saying the Lord's name in vain, you sick of sinner.
Okay, I'm gonna download it.
He's pirating a clip of Superman, guys. We're in jail. James Gunn's going to get us arrested for crimes of
Hey, James
piracy.
Gunn, I'm curious, what has been your favorite film of 2023 so far? The Flash. The Flash is the best film he's ever seen, excuse me. Henry
Best
Graham
comic book movie he's ever seen.
did the cinematography for both The Flash and Superman. If you couldn't hear the audio, I'm sorry, but I did my best.
Yeah, it's both of them screaming.
It's both of... Yeah, it's Corin Sweat and Miller screaming.
I'm not gonna lie, Miller screaming in pain is funny.
James Gunn has zero taste whatsoever, I agree. Although, he does attempt to pretend that he has taste when he rifles through my fucking record collection and puts them in his fucking movies.
Remember when you were having a mental breakdown over Peacemaker
I
having...
never thought you'd hurt me. I guess you live and learn.
Alex, James Gunn will ruin every song you like. James Gunn will ruin every song you like. Okay. Ready for the final trailer?
Yes.
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was just a random shot of a van pulling up to the middle of nowhere. Live in a van down by the river.
Okay, I'll point this out. This is directly from the plot leaks. I'm going to, when we grab this, I'm going to quote this word for word because this is directly from the plot leak. So it says this. Let me grab it. At the Daily... Oh no, that's not it. So Lois questions how Clark constantly gets interviews with Superman, creating some tension. Lois goes to her apartment at night, which is the scene we're looking at right now, and finds Clark there. It's revealed they've been secretly dating for 3 months, and she knows he's Superman. Their tension is all part of a cute role-play thing at work.
That sounds so fucking stupid. It's not as dumb as her being in a relationship with Superman and not knowing that he's Clark Kent, but...
The fucking role-play fetish. All right, keep going, Alex. I'll read the rest of I'll read more of it as you go on.
Gremlinora 99999 says, hello. Hello, Gremlin.
You'd let me interview you as Superman.
Sure.
Listen to that Clark Kent voice. Why is he putting on the fake Clark Kent voice when he's with his fucking girlfriend?
I think I already know because it's a cheap attempt to show the differences in their voice. When you could have done that by showing his voice at work and then showing the different voice at the apartment.
Yeah,
they're trying to rip off. You know the scene.
It's the famous. Famous scene from Superman the movie.
Yes, when he changes proposal and voice.
Yeah.
They're trying to mimic that, but they're doing it the wrong way.
Well, they're about to do it they're about to do it worse because Christopher Reeve could do both. They didn't have Christopher Reeve doing a horrible fake voice for Clark. They had him doing a relatively normal, if nebbish, voice for Clark. This is kind of like a little bit Poindextery, screechy. And then of course you can't make it sound like Superman naturally. Oh, I just did, didn't I? Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
Anyways, Gremlinora asks what's going on right now. We're reacting to the trailers for James Gunn's Superman by James Gunn, featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series and Knuckles.
All right, but you want to continue, Alex? You're about to see it.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
No, keep playing.
Well, I just want to say that line was really stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who Walter Cronkite was?
No.
I know who Walter Cronkite was, but somebody has followed us over on Twitch. If that's you, Gremlinora, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
I can't actually see who that is, but thank you to whoever that was. Walter Cronkite was a news anchor on television from like 50 years ago, I think. He's not exactly what I'd call a recent reference. It's something I kind of feel like it's something that
it feels like a very deep cut reference to like when Superman had the radio shows, but something tells me this is unrelated.
Well, yeah, it's also, and Gremlinora says, yeah, it's me. Okay, that's cool. Nice, thank you. This reads to me more like something that's a reference to something that James Gunn would know about, because James Gunn is not exactly of that age. He, I believe Cronkite was the good night and good luck guy. That was his sign off at the end of every day, at the end of the news every day. But, yeah, why wouldn't he just call her Miss Lane or something like that? Because that's the big thing that he always says, is like, well, Miss Lane, blah, 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 blah. Like, calling her Cronkite seems like it's taking a bit of her own credibility away.
He's not doing the Superman voice yet. He's acting like Clark. Well, but
she just pressed the record button, though. But yeah, we're about to hear this.
Superman.
Yeah. Watch. He changed
Miss
Composer
Lane.
too. Yep.
It's... I posted a comment under James Gunn's tweet of this trailer saying Clark's first line Corin Sweat's first line as Superman, Lois has her own name on a picture in her fucking apartment.
I see that too. We're reaching for the skies with some of these critiques.
What's that picture on your desk say? It's my name. Okay, I'm Lois. I'm gonna go away now. Please don't follow me.
You just said you enter Lois' Lane apartment. Every single picture is the name Lois.
Who wins, Monica or MCU Thanos? So that depends on whether or not Thanos is in the game, I suppose. I don't really know a whole lot about DDLC, to be honest. I just know that Monica is kind of... She's like the spurned character who... She's like anime girl Flowey. Whatever. Anyways, yeah, so that is the most obvious ADR I've ever seen, and it's because he's doing like this... It seems like he's doing this fake Poindexter-y voice for Clark, and then he shifts into a more natural, sort of lower cadence, more projection, and then he starts leaning forward on his diaphragm, and it really doesn't look right. So, it would have made more sense. I'm gonna try and emulate this as best I can. If he starts kind of down here, where he's hunched over a little bit, and talking in kind of a upper register, more normal-ish voice as Clark Kent. And then he sort of comes backwards and drops his voice and gives a bit more enunciation and command. Miss Lane? Fair battle assumption, neutral setting where both characters can use their powers. Well, then I have no idea. Okay, so... Yeah, I will want... Doki Doki Literature Club literally would not run on my laptop when it released, and I don't know why, because it just wouldn't... It had full screen, and then it just froze.
Recently, you've come under a...
There's just a spaceship in the middle of Metropolis for some reason there. I'm not going to say that there's no reason for it, but, you know, it's just... Yeah, no, I just happen to know a thing or two about how to project your voice because I've been doing theater and whatnot since I was a kid. And I also happen to have, like you said, Ben, I've seen Superman the movie several times, and part of the reason why Reeve pulled his shoulders back and straightened up is to be able to project your voice more. It's more difficult to project your voice correctly if you're all hunched over your chest. It'll mean that you get out of... See, right there. It'll mean that you'll get out of breath faster, or that the pressure in your lungs will build up more, and it'll cause you to have to go... Yeah. Kevin says, I too am a voice actor, and you've heard me do various voices. Yes. So yeah, it's very important to be able to pull your shoulders back, put your chest forward, and project. Perhaps I should move my mic closer to my mouth when I say that. And project. Is that the guy? Is that bald guy over to the right, next to the black guy, behind the black lady, near the short woman in the jacket? That bald guy right there. Do you think that's one of the guys from Man of Steel who was in the newsroom? Because he kind of looks like him, but 10 years older.
A lot of fire for what some might. It's a lot.
I don't know if it's a lot of fire. And then yeah, it's like the typical
that's
James.
a lot of fire, Alex.
Yeah, the typical James Gunn talk over each other dialogue.
Mm-hmm. Used to be funny, but now it's become very cliche in these movies.
Well, everybody else is trying to do it too, and they do it exactly the same way. I remember that people gave Joss Whedon a lot of shit for how his characters had similar sounding dialogue, but the thing is, except for Justice League, Joss Whedon has always tried to make sure that each character speaks distinctively.
I will always die on this hill. Age of Ultron was not his fault.
Age of Ultron was not his fault. The best scenes in that film were literally left on the cutting room floor, and Disney wanted to cut even more out of it.
Yep.
They tried to cut the fucking farmhouse scene.
Yeah, I think Josh is a piece of shit, but I would never blame
look
him
at that.
for that film.
Look at that.
Yeah, they
cut.
it.
They CGI'd over his blink.
Yes,
and it's not necessarily CGI. They probably composited the open eye over the top, but here's the thing, it really doesn't matter. It's still an effects shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the clip, Alex. I want you to play it just so people know what
I've seen the comparison, but I can play it.
Yeah, I just sent you the comparison. I'll just click the link.
Yep, I'm going to pop this up. Now, this is not the best example because they slow it down with motion interpolation, but first teaser is up at the top, and he blinks. And it looks like they've pasted his eyes from the previous frames over top and tried to kind of... Yeah, because his eyes kind of move independently of his head briefly there. Oh, God. If I had
imagine being so terminally online that this causes an issue for you.
Yeah, imagine having
James
such
Gunn's
an eye
like
for detail that you can actually see that.
Frustrated. James Gunn's like, I can't let people hate this.
Yeah.
Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions.
Why does it cut to him when it says Secretary of Defense? He's not the Secretary of Defense, is he?
I don't know. Here's the thing. This movie shows a lot, but it shows very little of the plot, and I'll get back to that in a bit.
The one above all versus Sakura Miku. I don't know who either of those characters are.
The one above all is the god in Marvel. I don't know the other one though.
Oh, right. Okay, the one above all is Jack Kirby. Right.
Is it Jack? Yeah, it is Jack Kirby.
It is. Yeah, it is literally Jack Kirby because they go to his office to ask him to bring the thing back to life.
Yep.
And then Kevin says they're not power scalers. You'd have to ask someone else that. See, I could do the research,
it depends on the series. I can power scale to some degree, but it depends on series and characters. I'm limited in that regard.
And Gremlinora says, yeah, pretty much he's the god of Marvel. Yeah.
That's funny.
My actions?
I mean, I wouldn't say that that's funny. I would say that it's kind of funny that you're asking about that, babe, but you know.
Superman wouldn't laugh about that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
My actions? I stopped a war.
Yeah, so this is reminding me a hell of a lot of Injustice here, actually. And I wouldn't necessarily say that this is a war. Why? Yeah, I wouldn't say that this is war. This kind of looks like just... Okay, so we have Humvees. We have a couple of Humvees. We have a van with nothing I'm not a tank guy, I gotta admit. Why is there a... Hang on, why is there a fucking fuel tanker? That's a fuel tanker. That's an APC, but that looks like a fuel tanker to me. Hey, why is there a fuel tanker at the front fucking line?
I don't... Yeah, it should be in the back. What the fuck? Why?
Granted, I could be wrong about...
Alex, I know. James Gunn needs his cool explosion to go poo-poo.
That... I might be wrong. That might be an APC, like a troop carrier, but it... Right here from this angle, because there's another one in the background that looks kind of similar-ish. That might be a troop carrier, but it does kind of look like a tanker from this distance. Yeah, the stopping a war thing, that's something that happened in Injustice, and that's also something that I did in Two Men in the Sky. God, the chromatic aberration around these fucking trees is driving me mental, because...
You're kind of... On my end, I don't know if it's happening on screen, you become very staticky and then back to normal.
Okay,
yeah, it's happening.
Maybe... Because I'm gonna unplug my mixer, and then play... Usually solves the problem.
I hope you didn't break something.
Okay. Sakura Miko is the vessel of Kami and HoloLive. Kevin and Gremlin say that it's happening on stream. Well, that's unfortunate because it hasn't been doing it. I haven't been... Usually what it's preceded by the video crackling, right?
Yeah, I thought it was just on Discord. I would have mentioned it sooner. It was happening for like 10 minutes or so.
The audio in the video hasn't been crackling that much. I need to get new RAM. I need to get... Because I only have 16 gigs of this stuff.
Yeah, you need more. You need more. You need like 64 gigs of RAM.
Probably. I probably ought to get...
Buy a goat, actually. Buy a goat.
No.
Buy an actual RAM. Oh, that's an awful effect. Look, go back. I want to analysis that. Hang on. I'll do it.
So let's just freeze right here, because I don't know who these guys work for, and these tanks look like something from fucking Call of Duty.
Oh, look at that fucking effect.
Man of Steel did this 12 years ago, and it looked so good.
It better. Like,
there was fire like, on his body.
Maybe.
And look, it just fucking dissipates like...
Not maybe. I did.
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
There's Ultraman, supposedly.
In effect, you illegally entered a country. I mean...
This is how you're gonna be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman.
Somebody slamming Superman face first into the ground.
That's Ultraman for sure.
Yeah, it has to be Ultraman.
Before we continue, let me read more of the leak, because again, this confirms more of it. This is confirmed now. In her living room, hang on. In her living room, Lois complains about Clark always interviewing Superman. She playfully turns on her microphone to record him, starting as a cute game, but devolving into a long domestic argument about foreign policy and Superman's involvement. This is the exact same shit as the leak. This shit is confirmed real. Oh my god.
Now, you remember when when the exact same thing happened in Batman v Superman and Lois was warm and supportive?
Yep. I was going to make a point similar. Keep going and I'll make that point.
Kevin says both Lois and Clark are just as dumb in this scene. Yes, they are. I kind of wouldn't want to turn this into an argument about, because like the question that Clark is about to pose is incredibly valid. What was I supposed to do? But, you know.
Did you consult with the president?
Why would I consult with the president before I did something to help people? Well, there's such a thing as Good Samaritan clauses and laws, etc.
Why would Superman groan at that question? He would give a straight answer.
Yeah,
It feels forced.
My fucking girlfriend is asking me this. I know that she's probably not looking at this maliciously. I'd say something like, hey, well, what am I... Do I need to go talk to somebody every time I want to do something to help people who aren't in America? You know, just because I stand for truth, justice, and the American way doesn't mean I'm only going to be in America, you know? Or whatever.
No.
You seemingly acting as a representative.
Just pause it. It's not like the United States does this anytime we want to interfere in foreign affairs.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like there's an entire movie about that.
America, fuck yeah,
coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah.
Remember how we forced trade onto Japan, which later led to them fighting us in World War II?
Oops.
I
wasn't representing anybody except for me.
I can't even hear Lois's dialogue. I'm gonna rewind and see if I can get that. Seemingly, I was a representative.
I wasn't representing anybody
because
except for me. And
around the because of whatever.
Doing good.
That is a perfectly fair argument, but this is the kind of thing that James Gunn does. He tries to inject life into his scripts by creating fake conflict in scenes like this, when I feel like, and this is something that I've done in my own writing, you know, Superman could have just said, I'm not representing anybody's interests but my own. I'm not doing it. I'm not trying to do anything but good around the world, you know? Well, I'm not acting as a representative of the United States of America in as much as I'm, you know, not enacting American policies anywhere. I'm just trying to help anybody who needs it. And Superman has literally given this answer in the fucking comics before. There have been several arcs about this throughout comic book history. There's a whole thing about this in Batman v Superman. I'm tired.
There's a video I want to add. How do I add it? There's a flying video I found that I know you want to talk about. Where is it?
Yeah,
How do I add it? How do I add, Alex?
How do you do what now?
Add a video to the list.
So
I can't, can
So
I?
what you do is you paste it into the search bar up at the top. And then you just
push enter.
send me the link.
Yeah, I'll send you a link. I think it only lets you. Yeah, it's the flying thing you wanted to talk about because we didn't get that in here.
Excuse me.
There's more. There's more. There's more. There's more.
Yeah, I just added that to the playlist. I thought that was in the teaser, but apparently, I thought that it was either in the teaser or in one of the other ones that we were going to do, but apparently it's not.
I would question myself in the same situation and consider.
Oh, Superman's Lion and City to be destroyed again.
Why
How
is
irresponsible of him?
Yeah, apparently this is some obscure villain from Superman history who even I, as a massive Superman fan, have not heard of.
Look, another villain they have to introduce among 30 other characters and villains.
We've got the Kaiju, we've got Ultraman, we've got Rick Flag Sr., we've got Lex Luthor, we've got...
No. Let me do this rant. I deserve this rant. Let me.
His first name is Juggernaut, surname is Bitch. Thank you, Kevin. He does look like the Juggernaut.
They have to introduce Jor-El, Crypto, the Lanterns, Hawkgirl, Supergirl, Ultraman, or whoever the fuck he's supposed to be in this movie, Lois Lane, Uncle Kent, Cat Grant, Mr. Terrific, the new Superman, Lex Luthor, Jimmy Olsen, Metamorpho, the Engineer, Maxwell Lord, whoever the fuck this dipshit is, and more characters that are in this movie.
12 Superman robots.
No, let me finish. People call Batman versus Superman bloated, which I get it. That introduced a lot. Maybe that was a bad idea. This is 100 times worse. This is more than double. And I didn't even name the characters that are in Peacemaker and Creature Commando. And isn't Amanda Waller in this somewhere at some point? I don't fucking... There's too much. And if the reports are true that Warner Brothers is cutting footage down to like an hour and 44 minutes, that's going to be a fucking disaster. On par with cutting footage from Batman versus Superman. This Why? Why didn't you just focus on making a Superman movie as the primary thing? The Superman mythos. Why are you trying to shove all these things in? Oh, I know, because you're trying to start a fucking universe with the bare minimum effort. Well, you wanna know what you should have done? Took notes from Iron Man. Not only was it able to stand by itself without shoehorning anything in, it had incredible world building. There were hints that there was something big out there. Just small, tiny little hints sprinkled in throughout the film. That's all they needed. And, you know, the big credit scene at the end that reveals, oh yeah, there is more.
Yep.
That's how you should have done it. Have these small little hints around. Maybe have like something in the back.
Iron Man
Like
2 did it well too.
Newspaper. Don't do this. Don't do whatever the fuck this movie's doing. You know what? You want to know another movie that did exactly this?
So Fant 4 Stick.
No,
The
not
Amazing
that.
Spider-Man 2.
No, that's a good one, but not that.
Let's see. Green Lantern.
Not that. That one is a better example of doing it right, kind of. That's a shit film, though, so...
The New Mutants.
No, that's not even... Alex, I'm gonna stop you. That's not even a good example.
I'm naming off movies that have done similar things. Which one are you talking about?
2 words. The Mummy. The Dark Universe.
Damn it, you're right. No. It's not even. It's even more right than you think it is, because The Mummy had a confusing as fuck bit of continuity to it too. Because it has references to the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies. It's also a sequel to I, Frankenstein and Dracula Unchained, but not really. And it
has actors that were going to appear in future projects like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and a whole lot more in that movie. It's almost the fucking same, where they're focusing on making the universe over making the movie. And there's a point I want to make.
You know what else it reminds? You
What?
are a younger man, Tom Cruise, despite being older than I, Russell Crowe. Yes, that is the most hilarious line in that entire fucking movie. So you know what else this reminds me of, Ben? This reminds me of another piece of shit Superman film that came out a few years ago. It's called Superman Man of Tomorrow, where they took Superman American Alien and Superman Earth 1 and forced them together to try and make a single product. Now, those two could not be more diametrically opposed. I like both of them in theory. I don't like American Alien as much as I like Earth 1. Earth 1 is actually like a really good comic that if it wasn't for the fact that the Earth 1 specifically spelled out as Earth-1 continuity wasn't essentially abandoned at this point, the Earth 1 Superman and Batman comics would be a great way to get anybody into them. But, you know, they've spent quite a while not making them now. And that sucks, because Earth 1 Superman 1, 2, and 3 and Earth 1 Batman were really good. And apparently Earth 1 Wonder Woman wasn't very good. I haven't read it, because I didn't know that they were still putting them out when that came out, because I'd kind of given up on them by that point. All that aside, I really like the way Lois and Clark's relationship was portrayed in Superman Earth 1, because she's, like, constantly throwing herself in danger to help him. Like, when he is getting beat down by a red sun cannon in Superman Earth 1, she and Jimmy Olsen get in a fucking tow truck, throw a chain around Superman, and drag him out of there. Like, that's awesome. That's cool shit. I'm gonna stop rambling now and go. But there was way too much shit shoved into Superman Earth 1, Superman Man of Tomorrow, and it just irritated me. Go watch our video that we did on that.
What are the consequences?
People were going to die!
Okay, let me get my take. I want to rant about this. This is...
Deep breaths, Alex, deep
So
breaths.
it's two things. There's two issues with this. The first issue is that this is completely out of character for Superman, because Superman is like a soft, well-mannered character. Yes, he can get pissed,
There's
This isn't
mild-mannered
something
Clark
you
Kent,
can
and then there's
fix
Superman. And Superman is not going to scream at his fucking girlfriend for asking a standard question that he could have given a calm,
there's only
succinct
two
answer to.
There's only one explanation why you would do this, and it's sexual role play, like they were doing at The Office.
This is really fucking stupid, if so.
Oh god, no, I don't think that's the case, because the leak does say that this does get a serious turn. This, and here's my theory. This is the way of James Gunn to try and shift into a serious tone later in the movie with that kind of message. Here's the thing, not a bad idea. The issue is that that's really the only... James Gunn has a way of portraying emotions with the actors, and a lot of it is screaming. A lot of that's true in Peacemaker. A lot of that's true in Creature Commando. It's a little better in the early Guardians film.
Yeah, I was about to say. It was a lot more toned down because the characters had... And it also made more sense because the characters were just meeting and they were having a hard time kind of like coming to terms with each other and communicating with each other. As they went on, it feels like they should have ironed some of those issues. Ironed some of those issues out.
They do have like the softer moments too, especially like in Volume 2, for example. And it feels like with each and every film, James Gunn starts reverting to the screaming emotion, like that's the default. And
I hated that in the Suicide Squad.
Oh god, it's worse than Peacemaker because it's default. Except for one scene where Cena acts really well after killing his dad, and then it goes back to screaming the next episode.
And the scene of him and Eagly. You remember that?
Yeah, that was one of the best scenes. They had like that particular episode had one of the best jokes, followed by one of the best emotional scenes in the movie, and then goes back to being shit.
Yeah.
Watch our reaction for our reaction on that because that was a good moment.
Yeah,
but,
go watch the Peacemaker videos.
As a matter of fact, I want to pause
it. I want to point this out here. Okay, so the way Zack Snyder would have shot that is it would have been in a big shot of Superman tumbling through the sky. We get the impact shot, and it just pans down as the impact happens, and it slows down, and then it speeds back up to normal speed as we go in for a closer shot on Superman. And it would have been one seamless cut. It wouldn't have gone on up. Here's the shot of him falling. Up here's the shot of him impacting. And this it's not. I fucking hate this.
I would question myself.
Like look how
that
effect is, and then like the rocks flying out. Look, something out of the PS3.
I like this, but this is straight out of Spider-Man.
Eyes up here.
Look at how he closes his mouth while doing that. It looks too goofy.
Yeah.
Hang on, no, I want to go back.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up.
Hang on, don't touch
here.
it.
Here.
Yeah, right there.
That severe underbite. I think that's because he's thrusting his jaw out to make himself look more intimidating as Superman, and it's not a natural jaw position for anybody. Does he get that underbite?
There's a good point someone made. I'm going to quote them on Twitter when they were looking at because people were like, "Oh, you can't take these shots out of context. That's not fair to the movie." But the best examples they have of Henry Cavill look more natural, like the ones I'm sending you right now. And someone made a very valid point. I'm going to quote them. They said, Zack Snyder knows how to shoot a movie without letting a character look too goofy. You have to make very specific screenshots in the middle action shots to get a goofy Superman face from Cavill. Meanwhile, James Gunn does not care. And yeah, no, they're absolutely right. And here's the thing, James Gunn, I don't know, Zack Snyder can have issues with his filmmaking sometimes. That's just a matter of fact. But he's very good at keeping these goofy shots out for the most part. Because again, you really do have to reach when it comes to Cavill, because a lot of the shots he has are very natural. And the one example someone showed me didn't even look that goofy. I'm going to see if I can find it. It's just him flying through the air and his lips reacting to it. It's that looks more like a realistic shot of how someone reacting to high winds would react. Like, it looked more natural than whatever he's doing here.
Well, here's
right?
so here's the shot of somebody is using this shot of Clark lifting the fucking kryptonite spear and being in fucking agony as an example of a weird Superman face. And then of course they used footage from Justice League, including the worst shot in the fucking film. Which aren't, somebody else pointed out. I was like, oh yeah, here's the ZSJL shot here with the comparison. The fucking underbite. You should have gone back for another take. This is a green screen shot. You didn't have to do anything.
Yeah. That is. I don't know why you didn't reshoot that scene. I do like the scene right before, like you pointed out. I do like how the aliens are helping getting him out. That's a very Spider-Man 2-ish. Which is definitely where James Gunn got. That's definitely where he got the idea. I think it's cool. I do like that. I think that is
I like that idea that like Superman is so beloved that people see him as like, oh shit, we gotta help him. It's like that's really cool. That's neat.
I think that's like the best shot we've seen of this movie so far.
Yeah.
Unironically.
That might be the best idea this film has had.
Yeah, and it's original. It's an original idea. Well, sort of. It's Spider-Man 2, but it's original for a Superman movie. Or DC one, for that matter.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
I think that's when he's fighting Ultraman. It's not the maybe it's the dinosaur because there's no. It can't be because the guy was shooting lasers. Yeah, no. This is when he's fighting.
This is fucking Juggernaut.
Yeah. Floating Juggernaut.
The guy whose name I don't remember. That looks like a default motion blur in Premiere.
Yeah.
Nano suit, fucking buzzsaw, and she's killing all the robots.
Choices.
We see
hang on. I can figure out who the one she kills is. That's 7. That is 7. That is not 12.
We don't know who 7 is.
Choices.
Okay. Pause it. I'm gonna read the leak. So it says, at one point, Luthor enters the Fortress of Solitude, uncorrupts Jor-El's messages about Superman being sent to conquer the world, and broadcasts them worldwide.
I hate how they're trying to turn the Kryptonians into discount Viltrumites. And the Viltrumites were already discount Saiyans.
Yes. The messages turn humanity against Superman, making him an outcast. This is from that anime that they released for adults, if you remember.
Yes, this is from My Adventures with Superman, which did the same fucking thing.
He's taken stuff from that show, too, and it's like, do you not have the original bone in your body? Not only that, that is a huge change from the source material.
Yeah.
And I was about to say, if this is true. No, this is true, because it's part of the same fucking leak we've been reading that's been essentially fucking confirmed. The fact that he's making these huge changes tells me that he does not care about the source material. Anytime someone tells me he cares about the source material, if that fucking scene is true, and it absolutely is, I'm going to play that scene over and over again.
If he cared about the source material, Peacemaker wouldn't have been a murderous asshole.
This would be like the most damning example, because if James Gunn releases the movie with that in it, and it's like, it's not even like, because remember, it's implying that he's uncorrupting the messages. It's not that he's editing them. He is uncorrupting them.
I mean, it could be editing, because they have that there are some things that are a little bit interpreted a little bit loosely, so to speak, but yeah, we'll see. Here's
playing.
Oh, there's Big Belly Burger. That's cool.
Yep. Keep playing.
Yeah. I'm just trying to read the billboards in the background.
And she's dead. She's dead.
And that Gwen Stacy effect in full action here.
Yep.
Wait, she's not dead.
No, she's dead. That's... Oh,
Superman, help! Superman!
Superman, do something! Help me!
Quit hovering with your fucking wife and come help me!
Help me! I'm fucking dying from the jellyfish juice out here. It really hurts.
That's what makes you
There's young Clark. Who you are? Oh yeah, that voiceover was from Pocket. Okay, so that gives us some context to his to Clark's look on his face, because it's not necessarily a look of anger there. It's a look of like mournfulness, because I think that's the scene where Paz is like telling him that he's not doing too well, you know? And so it does give context there. It just, that shot looked so fucking murderous.
He looks like
out of
he's
context.
about to rip his throat out.
Like, that was an Anakin Skywalker expression if I've ever seen one.
It looked like after he killed all the children in the orphanage.
Not just the men, but the women. And the children, too.
He killed them all.
They were animals.
He killed all Black
and I
Slipper's
slaughtered them like
ex-girlfriend.
animals. I hate them.
Hang on, before you continue, pause it for a second. So I do want to read a little more.
Oh yeah, there's the fair play jacket.
So yeah,
I love the fair play jacket. The paneling on the front, I can take or leave. The Mr. Terrific face mask thing, it looks a bit goofy to me, but it always has to me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They could do without that brow ridge.
I'm gonna read a little more of the leak. So here it is. Lex Luthor and his team are introduced. They hate Superman, devise a plan to eliminate him, involving, and this is where the Middle Eastern plotline comes in, involving a partnership with the government of a foreign nation to take over a smaller country, which is a political metaphor of Luthor equals Elon Musk, corrupt country equals Russia, and small country equals Ukraine.
I hope that that's not something that makes it into the film, because you remember how they said that,
if Warner Brothers was smart, they would remove that immediately.
Well,
or
yeah,
at least the metaphor stuff.
Well, you remember how in the lead up to Rogue One's release, one of the writers said that it was supposed to be like commentary on Donald Trump or something like that, and that just wasn't in the film.
I remembered that.
I hope that that's something that they like came up with but isn't in this movie, because like I can handle a lot, but cringe will kill me.
It could be the leaker giving his own interpretation of what it is, and it could be like a very vague thing. But yeah, like I don't know. So to continue the next part, I'll pause it. Lex Luthor releases monsters into the city to fight Superman, who defeats them. The Justice Gang appears and helps in the fight. They are basically the Guardians of the Galaxy. They're more like the Justice Society in Black Adam, which I think they're more based on. But
apparently they're not called the Justice Gang. They're actually the Justice League, because those logos on their uniforms are supposed to be J's and L's.
Superman's a founding fucking member.
If they
remember, fucking idiots. Okay, so let me see if I can find the next part. Oh yeah, so after humanity turns against Superman, he's shunned by the world and returns to his human family. Continue.
Yeah, there's the Lex bots.
Superman. Oh, wait, pause it. Wait, hang on. Rewind it a tiny bit. I saw something interesting. Right here.
Yeah, he's definitely at the He's definitely at the main console at the fortress.
Okay, I thought that was his little dimension thing. Because remember how he has a dimension?
You're talking about the Phantom projector.
I'm talking about like his own secret dimension thing he has, where he keeps all his ex-girlfriends.
Oh yeah, essentially the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, I'm gonna read this real quick. Lex Luthor has access to a pocket universe where he traps people he hates, including ex-girlfriends. He violently beats Crypto and takes him to this universe. Somehow, Superman ends up there too. Man. I gotta pull off the thing. Pause it. There's the leak I was talking about, where Superman returns to his human family. They're going to pull off a scene where Lex just going to beat the shit out of Crypto, isn't he? And they're just going to try and make you hate him, right?
We won't need Superman to finish this film. We'll just need to find John Wick.
Hold the fucking phone. How the fuck does he beat up Crypto unless he has the War Machine?
Yeah, if he has the war suit, I can see that making sense, but he's a normal human versus a Kryptonian canine.
Doggy go boom, smashes through chest. There's blood everywhere.
Kind of like what Homelander did to... What was that guy? Who was that?
No.
It was the
A better
fucking
example,
racist Japanese villain.
Remember the animated short where they drug up a superhero and he flies through the metal guy's stomach?
Yeah, that was based on the thing from the comics where Homelander went through somebody's chest.
Yes, I was thinking of that.
Yeah, he said something racist while he did it.
Yeah. I'm gonna read more of this. Hang on, pause it.
Look at how fucked up his face is there. Why is his face so? Why is his face so fucked up?
I don't see it. Rewind it a little bit. Oh, hang on.
Okay, so yeah. So you see that right where Martha moves her hand there, you can see the the burn pattern on his face.
Yep. That
is that right after? This has to be right after the fortress scene.
Mm-hmm.
Which would almost put to rest the theory that that's Ultraman or Bizarro in the fortress scene, which makes that make no fucking sense either. But
it's not. There has to be a fight between being shunned and him.
Yeah,
landing.
Lois is in his room, and you can see more of Clark's sports trophies. I wish there was more. Can I get this in higher resolution? Huh?
Is Superman doing the sports thing cheating?
That's a very good question.
It's like Dash in Incredibles when they're telling him, "Oh, you're going too fast. Oh, you're going too slow." Yeah, that's just right.
There was a big. I think there was a big thing in Smallville about that.
I'll pause it. Wait, no, pause it. So, I'm gonna read more of this.
Oh, okay, yeah. So here we see a girl. We see somebody over here. We see Metamorpho, and we see Superman, and so yeah. So this has to be that scene with where they're in the pocket dimension.
Yep, I'm gonna read more of that. Lois and the Justice Gang discover Superman's location. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna save it for when we see one particular character.
Yeah.
Because that plays with her. You'll see. So keep going.
Excuse me.
He's an it.
He's not a he. He's an it.
Oh, yeah, pause it.
Barbie in the back.
I need. There's a rant I just remembered I wanted to do. So let me.
Before we do that, I need to do something here. Hang on. Where is it?
Does that look familiar?
Oh, God fucking damn it.
Does that look familiar?
Yes, I was about to say, hey, this is almost the BVS shot, and I would say, hey, fuck,
grab a GIF of this one. Yes, I got the GIF. Or go in the chat, open up the GIF in the browser. This is the exact same shot. Almost. It's almost the same shot.
Server settings. There we go.
Let me know when you open up the GIF, and then I'll start my rant real quick.
God, can I please rearrange this stuff? Can I?
No, you're fired.
Because I have a clip I need to play. Hang on.
Kevin, you're the new Alex. Get in here. While you do that, let me get some water real quick.
There we go. So I was able to trigger it for the YouTube chat. For the Twitch chat and the YouTube audience. I was not able to trigger it for the actual Discord chat, but yeah.
But yeah, you opened the GIF, right?
Hang on, I'm finding the GIF. I was
I sent it to you in the chat.
I'm looking. I don't see it.
It's right at the very bottom of the chat. It's the most recent.
Broadcast chat?
No, in the fucking DMs.
In our DMs? Oh. For some reason, that just didn't pop up. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna start my rant.
Yeah, that's the BVS clip.
This movie is trying to cater to every single person.
Something that's made for everyone is made for nobody.
It's trying to be Superman 1 and 2. It's trying to be Superman Returns. It's trying to be Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. It's trying to have elements of that Gunn-isms, from his films.
Yep.
It's trying to be Black Adam in some regard. It's trying to be potentially Superman 4 with some scenes. It's trying to be so many fucking things. And it feels soulless to me. This film, like, through everything we watched, it feels soulless. There's only, like, one scene I felt that had a little bit of soul, and that's what the people helping him up. That's the only thing that's like, oh, that's really cool. That's the only thing, I feel like. Unless there's one thing I said that was cool that I forgot immediately. But, like, it feels so unoriginal. It feels so soulless. It feels like it's trying to force itself to be this next big thing, trying to do everything to cater to everyone. And I don't know if that will work. And with how much this movie costs, like, I don't know. Like, again, compare this with the Batman v Superman scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost the exact same shot. There's some differences, sure, but it's the exact same idea. And, like, there's a lot of scenes in Batman vs Superman Man of Steel that he's been copying from. And I'll send you the image to open in a second. Let me grab them real quick. There's 4 images I'm going to send you. But he's been taking a lot from those movies. And it's not just these 4. It's throughout the trailer, and we pointed these out before. A lot of the action stuff is very styled after Snyder's work, just a little more unpolished.
Yeah.
But, like, these 4 examples, I'm going to send you them. One of them we talked about for sure. And they're being sent to you now. And, again, like, it feels like he's trying to take all these elements from all these different movies and jam them together, be like, oh, if I jam all these elements, they'll all love it. Because he wants maybe it's like an earnest attempt to try and get everyone to love this film, to try and include everything people loves about these different interpretations, but it doesn't work.
Oh, yeah. So that's even more similar. The scene in the fucking cornfield. I almost forgot about that one.
Yep. And there's more examples, as I said. These are just one of the few that people have pointed out.
Yeah, the color grading is night and day.
And what was my second issue? There was a second thing I was going to point out. My brain is scrambled from doing this for so long. We've really dragged this out.
Yeah, a little bit.
What was my second? Give me a moment. I need to think. Because I was talking about how unoriginal. What was the other thing? Think. My brain is scrambled. Hang on, let me check my phone because I know I wrote notes. Yeah, I wrote notes like a psychopath. I said this to the movie chat. Death Bow earlier. Let me see. It's not it. Maybe it's at the bottom. I don't know. I don't know. It's like, okay, I guess that was the end of it. So it's like, the issue is when you try to cater to everyone, you cater to no one. I think that's really going to hurt the box office when it comes down to it. Like, the first weekend's going to be ultra important, right? Because it needs like 750 million at minimum to break even. I talked about the numbers before. Like, at the highest, it needs like 1.1 to 1.2 billion to break even because of how high it got.
Well, Ben,
but
who are you going to believe? The state of Ohio's tax filings or James Gunn?
Yep. And James Gunn said they were fake. He called the state of Ohio a liar.
It's like, how do you want to come out with the actual fucking filings, James? Because
here's the thing.
Got them even if you were to give them the
benefit, even if you were to give them the benefit of doubt, and you lowball the numbers of like 150 million for the budget and another 150 million for like the marketing, that still needs 750 million minimum to break even. I don't think this one will reach that. I really don't. And, oh, you know what? I forgot to tell this story during the sneak peek. Because I went to a huge Minecraft showing, right? Oh, it's opening
right, yeah,
weekend.
They were showing the Minecraft. They were showing the teaser before Minecraft.
Yeah, they were showing this
the 4-minute one, right?
They were really hyping this up. Like, oh, we're going to have a big sneak peek for Superman at the, the thingy. And so they showed it. And once someone realized it was Superman, some teenager a few seats down from me, I'm not making this up. This legitimately did happen. He said, "Oh, who wants to watch this shit?" The entire the entire fucking top row above me starts laughing. And that was the only audible reaction that sneak peek got, except for a few groans. And keep in mind, it wasn't just adults in there. There were little kids, teenagers, adults, at all ages, of all various colors and political groups. I shit you not, by the way. There were both Trump hats and like blue Democratic hats in there.
Yeah.
It was wild, man. It was like being at like a jack of all trades showing.
All colors and creeds, all political alignments, all races, sexes, orientations, etc. can come together and agree that James Gunn's Superman looks like shit.
Why did I not say races? Why did I say colors? Am I racist or something? What the fuck is wrong with me?
No, that's just part of the saying, all colors and creeds.
I think I'm exhausted. I think I'm losing it, Alex. I think that the more I lose it, the more racist I become. No, I'm joking. But okay, but in all seriousness, the fact that my theater audience was reacting like that to this film, that's not a good fucking sign. That's really bad.
Yeah.
That's extraordinary. And remember, this film made almost $1 billion. It's made over 900 million so far. I don't think it's going to break $1 billion now. But this film made a ridiculous amount of fucking money. And just had a lot of people
had a bunch
going.
of eyes on it.
And the fact that my big showing, full of like this huge diverse group of people, reacted like that, that should scare you. That should scare James Gunn. I wouldn't even be surprised if that's why they're fighting over how it should be marketed in the film and how long it should be. I would not be surprised if after sneak peek they're like, "Oh shit, we might have fucked up."
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, that's pure speculation.
Yeah. So far, even, and I'm going to spoil this much for anybody who hasn't seen this, but so far, we haven't learned what this film is about yet. Like, we don't really know the plot. We know a little bit. And we know that there's like things that happen in the movie. We don't know how connected any of those things are.
Yeah, I want to read this. This does play into one of the leaks.
You remember that it's a series of vignettes more than an actual movie, like a bunch of YouTube shorts. I heard it described as.
So according to My Time to Shine Hello, and to give you an idea of how credible he's been recently, he's gotten his Superman leaks 100% correct, and he recently made a scoop, and I told you about this, about the Oswald movie, or series, whatever it's going to be. And every detail he had, including the people working on it, and what it's about, he got fucking spot on. Like, every single minimal small detail was in the announcement article for that project. And he reported this months before this was announced. I don't know what sources My Time to Shine has, but they're really fucking good so far. Follow his Twitter, because his scoops are really, really good. And I recommend you keep an eye on him, because his stuff is really good. But to read what he said, the Superman movie is very much like an all-star Superman. No real central plot. Just Lex scheming in different ways to kill Superman or get him locked up. A kaiju, a black hole in the sky. I wonder if that's the jellyfish thing we saw earlier.
Oh god, if it is, that's even more irresponsible.
A conflict between nations, a clone, which we've seen. He throws everything at him.
Oh my god.
He also turns the public against Superman and gets him arrested, which we see. Again, this guy reported this months before we saw a lot of footage of this movie. And here's the thing. I'm going to quote one of my friends on this. This idea can work. It could.
Oh, yeah.
Like if
it did work.
Yeah, it can. Here's the thing.
Because I
Warner
have
Brothers,
the All-Star Superman movie.
Here's the thing. There are reports that Warner Brothers is cutting footage from the movie. The current runtime was reported at 1 hour and 44 minutes. James Gunn's movies usually run at like over 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
If that's true, they've slashed like 40 minutes out of the movie. And when you're doing an episodic story like this, that's so bad.
Yeah, that means there are big chunks of the story missing if true.
If that runtime is true, If this movie is an hour and 44 minutes, that tells me two things. One, they're trying to get as many showings as possible to try and make this movie explode. And two, fuck, my brain just went blank. Give me a moment.
Well, an hour 44 is like the bare minimum for a drama. Comedies are usually an hour and a half. Dramas usually aren't less than an hour 40.
Okay, here's my point. It's Warner Brothers being scared of the footage that they're removing. They're trying to damage control. And they're essentially saying to Gunn, we've lost confidence in you. We're going to slash this movie down. You can do whatever you want with the marketing. You can be the front head of this movie. It just means that if this movie fails, we can blame you and we can throw you the fuck out. That's what this tells me. But again,
which is going to be an interesting bit of course correction considering Supergirl has already wrapped.
That's what makes me wonder. I don't think if this movie does fail, what happens to Supergirl?
It's probably going to go into reshoots like Justice League and Suicide Squad did.
Or Batgirl.
If it could go the Batgirl way.
Here's the thing. I don't think that'll happen. But Warner Bros. Has always set the precedence of not only cutting a ton of footage from these movies after promising creative control, they will also tax right off your project if they deem it useless to their plans. Like if the DCU gets written off, Supergirl's never going to see the light of day. But here's the thing. To be fair, I think Superman would have to do atrociously bad to get to that point. It would have to make less than $200 million for DC.
I was going to say, we're talking $150 million, 98% box office drop-off territory here.
Yeah. It would have to have a bigger drop-off than Batman versus Superman. It would have to have a bigger drop-off than The Flash. It would have to have a bigger drop-off than Joker 2, which I think was 80% or something like that.
Joker 2, I think Joker 2 holds the world record for the biggest box office drop-off of all time.
Yeah. You would have to get to those levels of bad to even tax write off Supergirl. But they wrote off Batgirl for lesser reasons. So maybe I'm overestimating what Warner Brothers will do for a quick cash grab.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I have to mention this. The Batgirl movie was directed by the guys who did Bad Boys 4 and a couple episodes of Miss Marvel. Those guys are really good at what they do. I do not believe for a second that the film was as bad as Warner Brothers is pretending it was going to be.
That reminds me of Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange movie, where there are a lot of scenes you can tell he directed, but then there are other scenes that were absolutely not directed by him and are very MCU-esque in their filming.
Yeah, there's that? Yeah, there's some weird stuff. I still like that movie, but there's some weird stuff in there. Part of the problem is that so here's the thing. They had a completed-ish script, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they scrapped the whole film for COVID. And then they phoned up the writer the week before they were supposed to start filming again and said, "Hey, start over. We're actually filming." Excuse me. And so he was writing week to week, day to day at sometimes. Excuse me, trying to get the script done for things that were going to be shot maybe even the next day. And
I feel so bad for the writers at Marvel.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, no. What's her name who played? What's her name who played America? Chavez said that is don't blame Michael Waldron for the way that Doctor Strange came out. He was literally writing things as they were going, and Marvel was telling him, no, you got to rewrite that, and we're gonna go back and redo that. And yeah, no, checks out, because that's just how they did stuff and how they do stuff, and thankfully we're not seeing that as much anymore. But
yeah, I wonder why.
Well, they had such a massive. They were spending a lot of money and they weren't making hardly anything back.
Yeah. All right.
Captain America.
Entire world's conversation.
Oh wait, pause it. That's very Black Adam-esque.
Okay, so look at this chair right here that Mr. Terrific is in. Does that remind you of of the chairs that the new gods would ride around in. More specifically, Mr. Miracle.
Yes,
that reminds me of Mr. Miracle's chair.
Interesting. That's a good
Yeah.
point. I was going to point out that shot looks at go back now. I'll go back.
Yeah,
for
it
a
does
second.
look. It does look like
Conversation.
Hey,
Oh my god, we're
don't-
really fighting here. Okay,
Yeah.
pause it right there.
It reminds
That
me of
looks
Black Adam.
very Black Adam-esque shot.
Shot by the guy who does the Flash, but you know.
Yes. Yeah. Very Black Adam-esque shot. I
Fucking
wanted to
hate
point
these
that out.
uniforms.
I will not.
There's Captain America.
When Captain America throws his mighty shield, all those who choose to oppose the shield must yield.
Something tells me that's going to be the worst scene in the movie in terms of like the action effects.
Look at all this stuff here. And him just...
Hang on, that looks-
I can only imagine what the people who complained about Superman dodging the tanker truck in Man of Steel are going to say about him just deflecting the fucking buzzsaws out into the stands at this empty baseball stadium, but still.
That.
Why is the Red Sea parting? Jesus Christ, Nicholas Holt, you need to get braces.
Oh my God. He's overacting to hell right here. It's going too far.
I had teeth that were like this. It was not fun, and I had braces, and it helped immensely.
I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you.
That's cute. I do like that. Okay,
Yeah.
pause it. I'm gonna read more of the leak here. Because there's more of the leak. So
This looks like they've
you know what?
pasted
Hang on,
his
go
head
back for a
onto
second.
a body.
Go back for a second. There's something I noticed.
Except that.
Yeah, okay. Oh, no. Hang on. Go back.
Okay.
Don't touch it. Let me do it.
Except.
Alright. That looks like something described right out of the leak. Hang on. So Superman eventually escapes the Pocket Universe by flying through pixelated lava, which looks like Minecraft.
Oh,
what does that look like to you?
That looks like pixelated lava that's been hardened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
This
this is another Bible thing. This is Exodus
you're
right here.
Yeah, that was my second point. I just remembered. So there's a lot of Jesus imagery in these trailers.
Yeah,
like
that was
the
why I was
talking
searching for the
And-
superstar clip there.
And here's the thing. I think the Jesus imagery is cool. I think it works with Superman. But what pisses me off is that the same fucking people who were saying, "Oh, it ruined Superman. Snyder turned him to Jesus. That's not what we want." Are looking at these shots like, "Oh, slay King, slay Gunn. Yeah, this is awesome. Fuck you. You will simp for any little fucking thing." Here's the thing, right? I get if there's some issue in the Snyder stuff, like for example, the scene where he like, has his hands out like a fucking cross in space. I get that's a little on the nose, but come the fuck on. If it's fine for one person, it's fine for the other, man. I don't give a shit what you have to say.
Well, you know,
Like,
Zack
it's
Snyder
cool.
Zack Snyder never included a direct quote from the Bible in his movies. Richard Donner did.
You know, now every time I think of the Jesus stuff, I hate to say it, I think of the quote, "I am Jesus. I am Jesus." From like
Kevin.
Nostalgia Critic's best review ever.
Yeah, Kevin brought that up a couple of times.
I am. So let me read more of the leak here. Just to give an idea of the rest of the film. Superman saves some people and fights the foreign army, earning forgiveness from others. The best action scene, quote unquote, as good as the hallway scene in Guardians 3 involves Mr. Terrific, which I'm guessing would involve like the other members.
That's gotta be the
If I had
desert
to
scene.
guess- If I had to guess, it's going to be
the desert scene that we've already seen.
I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for
I
you.
think I know what scene they're talking about. Not that. This scene. I
Oh
think it's
god,
going to be
this looks terrible. So this is
Yeah.
not how Green Lantern powers work. You have to project a beam out, and now you can't just summon constructs from nowhere. Or you can't see that what I'm pointing at here, but see,
Yeah,
if this
I
was
know,
a Green Lantern comic, there would be a line reaching down into the sand and then back up and out so that guy could slap these things away.
Yeah. I think that's
or he would just have it not even bother burrowing down into the sand and just slap him away anyways.
Also, does Guy kill American soldiers? I'm pretty sure he has before, but I'll make sure.
I don't think these are Americans, but we'll
Oh,
see.
no. Yeah, this gotta be the foreign army they talked about.
Yeah, but
I
this
think that's,
shit right here. This is fucking Ryan Johnson. What's his name? Who's the guy who did Spanish director? He's the guy who did Prisoner of Azkaban.
I don't know.
Alfonso Cuarón? Alfonso Cuarón.
I don't.
Yeah, this is Alfonso Cuarón levels of thinking about, and Ryan Johnson levels of thinking about the visual before thinking about the logistics of it.
Yep.
Cool visual. Doesn't make a lick of fucking sense. Causes a lot of problems.
It's Gunn doing the bare minimum when researching the source material, as we pointed out multiple times. I'm gonna read the rest of the leak because, again, I think that's the hallway scene they're talking about with the the Justice Gang or whatever they're called fighting the soldiers with Superman. So to read the rest, Superman learns about Luthor's plans with the foreign nation. He informs the government, but Luthor counters by revealing he cloned Superman. A fight ensues between Superman and his clone, who shares his DNA and can access the Fortress of Solitude. Oh my fucking god, he's the one they bring in, is he?
That's the fucking Ultraman thing.
No,
it's gotta be the fucking Ultraman.
I swear to fucking god, I'm going to scream if that's how they do it. It can't be.
James, if you want me dead, you should just send a hitman to my house. Don't keep trying to make me kill myself because I am a stubborn son of a bitch.
Okay.
I know who you are, and I don't know what you want.
Okay,
if you're after money, I'm not going to give you my ticket. I just want you to know that I have a very specific set of skills acquired over a long career of reviewing shitty movies.
I'm not gonna read how this
film, and I will review it.
I'm gonna read the ending. If you don't want to get spoiled, mute the video for at least 1 minute. Mute. Superman defeats the clone and Luthor is taken to jail. Gas. I don't believe it.
The bad guy loses. Shock and awe.
Superman returns to the fortress, where a drunk sorority version of Supergirl appears to reclaim Crypto, who's her dog. She had asked Superman to watch him for the week.
If this movie literally does take place over the course of a week,
that would back up the fucking...
that would fucking suck. If Supergirl, if this is, they better do fucking reshoots for that, because if they do my girl dirty again, Supergirl TV show, she's shit. Flash movie, she gets erased at the end of the goddamn film.
Oh, I still have the image of what he compliments on Supergirl.
This is like,
it was like characters he would sleep with.
Yeah, we actually read that out live, but we could do it again here if you want.
Matches this too, if I remember. Here it is. I found it. Do you want to read it or should I?
Yeah, I'll read it out.
Let me send it. I'll send it to you to DMs. You read it. It almost matches it. Almost.
Supergirl. As you can see, most of the girls on my list are either the demure feminine types, little firecrackers, or slutty man-eaters. Supergirl is a bit of all three in one. In fact, she'd be higher up on my list, but I'm afraid that she'd accidentally shred me like wet toilet paper at the point of orgasm. But hell, it's better than dying of cancer.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, I gagged at that.
Dude, that's the fucking Mighty Number 9, it's better than nothing quote. Now, I know that was a misquote, but dear fucking God.
Oh. Okay, continuing on. So,
Kara's a fucking sweet girl, and she's got the same sense of duty and fucking and righteous dignity that Superman does. She was 12 when she came to Earth. She got raised by the Danvers.
I'll save the last bit. Let's finish off this trailer.
If she comes to Earth as an adult, it's fucking...
Oh, wait. Go back. Go. That's right. There's one more. Hang on. There. Right, that's the fucking girl. That's the fucking girl.
The fucking clueless dress. The fucking... selfie in front of the monster whose name I don't remember, Laser Juggernaut, I'm going to call him.
I'm going to be petty and point to an example that's almost like this from Batman v Superman, but more. Okay, so I'll open up the image I have in the DMs so that people see what point I'm making, how petty I'm going to be here. One is a man accepting his death while Zod is tearing for the building. The other is this.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking scenario. It really does show the differences between Gunn and Snyder's kind of storytelling. Like, that's like the perfect episode of that. And here's the thing. I like some of Gunn's films. This doesn't work. But I'm going to read one part of the plot of the leak that I wanted to save for this specific scene. I'm going to read it. Lois and the Justice Gang discover Superman's location in the Pocket Universe through Jimmy, who had been, and this ties back to all the girls obsessing over him that we talked about earlier, the sexist plotline that's going on, who had been secretly sexting Luthor's girlfriend. She's obsessed with Superman, and her provocative photos unintentionally reveal confidential data.
Is this the LexCorp building that she's...
Yes.
That's probably the LexCorp building. So I have another thing. I have another thing that I gotta bring up here. Let me see if I can... Yeah, look at that. That's Jimmy, like, slapping Clark in the legs. Jimmy Olsen should never be doing that.
And there's the football stadium scene.
Yeah, and something crawling across the ground towards him.
Something tells me, it looks like the nanobot from the engineer. Something tells me it's going to be like the worst fight in the movie.
Oh, God. Yep,
that's again.
Okay, so see that shot of the Justice, that shot of. I
do like that.
Looks like this shot looks like it was made to be a meme.
Yeah, you're probably right. I do like the shot though. I do like him. I think he'll be one of the best.
I like Metamorpho. Metamorpho looks cool.
Yeah,
he looks
really.
No.
And I think they're fighting in either like a dimension or space. Actually,
yeah. So this pretty much confirms.
That's the fucking dimension thing.
Yep. This looks like the Phantom Zone projector. This looks like a giant Phantom Zone projector. And if
this is the worst. Why is the leak real, Alex?
And you can see like the Minecraft shit all around them.
Oh my God, you're fucking right! Oh my God, I'm going to fucking slap myself silly. I'm actually...
and
okay,
then you can see in
he's
here,
fighting his
that's in the dimension, that's gotta be fucking Bizarro.
Man, Bizarro.
And then there's the clip from the preview. And then him and Lois making out.
They're really horny in this movie.
They made a kid in BVS and there was less horny in that film.
He literally climbs into the bathtub and breaks it. You got how horny he was.
Well, he didn't break it. He just overflowed it. It was like, hey, imagine you're Jonathan Kent and you're being bathed in the same bathtub you were conceived in. Have fun with that information, kids.
Wait, kids watch this channel? That's bad. That's really bad.
And then he just comes flying back down. Is that him being punched back down? It almost looks like... Hang on, let me see if I can run this.
I think what's happening in that scene is that when he's shot by fire, he flies all the way up and then launches back down to attack the monster.
He goes up. No.
Yep, it's a punch.
Yeah.
That kind of looks like a... Go play that again. That kind of looks like a jump scare. Play that shit again. FNAF. Put a FNAF scream sound effect in front of that.
I don't have any of those.
I know, but just imagine the Foxy sound when he's rushing towards you.
Yeah.
You have a dog?
How are you two dating and you don't know that he has a fucking dog, woman?
Well, it's not his dog.
Crypto is his dad's dog. Crypto is supposed to.
No.
Crypto belongs
I don't
to Jor-El.
fucking know.
And
You
depending
think
on,
James Gunn cares about the source material?
well, depending on the
Look
comic,
at all we talked about.
got trapped in the Phantom Zone, or he came to Earth with Clark when he was a baby. I don't fucking know. This is so stupid.
We're losing our fucking minds. He's
and
cute.
Here's the shot again. And my dog has done this. I have actually had a couple of dogs do this. Sally, I used to wake up to Sally laying on my legs. In the middle of winter, she would, because labs have those very thin coats. She would jump up on my bed and like nestle herself in the comforter, and then I'd wake up and not be able to move for about 45 minutes because she would just be there, and I didn't want to wake her.
Our fur babies.
And then Ralphie, he would like climb up onto your lap. Max would do that too, but Ralphie was the one who liked to lay on your chest if you were unsuspecting enough to let him.
I got two stories. There was a ritual when Tommy was around. He did not like to sleep in. He was a very active dog. So what he would do is he'll keep sleeping, but if there's a smallest hint you're awake, he will notice and he will wake up. He'll go up to you and he'll sit right next to your head and look down at you. And he'll do one of two things. One, he'll start waking you until you get up. Or two, he'll start smacking you in the face with his paws. As hard as he can. He's like, wake up! Wake up!
Okay, so I think what happened was those dots that we were seeing earlier had to have been some kind like lens flare or dust or something, because they're not here in this shot.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because I see some near his head, and I think that's just dust. And that makes sense. Like, dust would be in this room because they probably would have left it untouched for a while. So that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. I also had another dog. Her name was Pixie. She would climb up on top of the couch and sit on your head. While it was like Pixie was not a very good dog. She would bite people, and she was impossible to house train, but she was sweet at times too.
Tommy would do something similar, right? If he really wanted to, he rarely did this. He did this a lot with my mom, but if he wanted to, he'll like snuggle around your head in a ball and sleep. It was so fucking cute. The reason why he would do this though is to steal your pillow, because he will slowly push you out of the pillow and then take it over.
Oh man.
Or you'll be like the opposite. Or he'll be in.
We're almost done.
If you're
nothing
sit
left.
up, fair. I mean, there's this flying thing, but pause it before we get there. So if you're sit up on a pillow and sleeping, he will climb up the pillow and lay around your head, and then sleep. It was very cute. I got one more story. Cooper wasn't a snuggler. Every now and then, like he'll snuggle next to me when I wake up. But there was one more I remember. I woke up and I'm gonna go back to sleep. Cooper got up, laid next to me, and then put his head on my forehead. It was the sweetest fucking. He only ever done that once to me, and it was so fucking sweet. I'm like, oh, this baby's so sweet. And I just stood there for like a few hours. I think I was still awake. I just laid there because it was just sweet. And eventually he's like, oh, I'm bored now, and just went to the other side of the bed and went to sleep. Cooper, if his best afterlife was just sleeping with someone, genuinely, if he could sleep with someone, he would. All day, every day. That's his little heaven. Tommy was to play all day. They were exact opposites. They were great dogs. I miss them so much. All right, let's continue. I want to get to the flying shot. You know what? Can we skip to the flying shot? Please. We've been at this for like 3 hours.
No, we're almost there.
Go to hell.
I'm looking for something. That shot of Superman right there. That's shot like a fucking dick pic. That's shot like a dick pic. I said what I said.
Nah, he's looking one direction. He's looking at Zack Snyder. One direction. He's looking at James Gunn.
His eyes. I'm not. So my eyes do this too. You know, his eyes are going off in slightly different directions. My eyes do that too. That's it. I'm not gonna. Corn Sweat does not have control over that, especially without glasses on. But if you're CGIing so much, why didn't you fix his eyes?
Want to bet that James Gunn CGI'd this to fix it in the final version of the movie? Like he
possibly.
did with the person throwing it? Yeah, I bet he did. And it's going to look really weird. I think... there's a point I was going to make to end this off, and now I don't remember. Do you have any points you want to make to end this reaction?
I was never optimistic about this film. I am getting less so with every passing preview.
Yeah, like every preview just looks worse to me. I know there's a lot of people who feel the same way. From like all the groups I'm in and all the Discord groups, I'm seeing a mixed reaction. Some absolutely love it, others absolutely despise it, and others are like, why is this a thing? This kind of looks weird. It looks okay. Those kind of opinions. It's all over the place. And that's troublesome for Superman. That's got to be very troublesome because it needs to succeed. I don't mean it needs to succeed. It needs to be a box office juggernaut. It needs to beat out Jurassic World. It needs to beat out anything next to it. It will beat out the Smurfs easily. Who the fuck is going to see the Smurfs? No one. That's the answer. That movie's coming out right next to those two. Like I don't know. Like
Oh yeah, so the Hammer of so Baravia is an actual country in DC Comics. The Hammer of Baravia is yet another fucking original character. At least James Gunn isn't fucking up something that somebody else created. But, you know, we have plenty of characters both in this film and in DC Comics already. You didn't have to invent something for this movie. You could have just gone to the backlogs and found something that was in need of usage. Apparently the Hammer of Baravia works for the government of Baravia or something like that. And Baravia and the other country were the ones that were having the little war that was happening.
Here's another point. Well, I guess.
And so the Hammer of Baravia is coming to Metropolis to beat up Superman for stopping the war. I feel like there should be some kind of consequences for this guy coming to America and fucking things up like this.
States. Maybe that's what escalates the tensions over there, because it looks like they go back, but fucking I don't know. Yeah, here's my other point I wanted to make. Because this universe looks fucking confusing. I think that's going to create a lot of
I mean, it definitely is.
I'm just gonna read what I wrote previously in the Death Battle movie chat. The Suicide Squad is canon, except it isn't, but it also is. Peacemaker is canon, but also isn't, but also is. Blue Beetle was canon until it flopped and is no longer canon, but the character is just not the movie, but it has the same casting as Blue Beetle. And what the fuck, Gunn? This shouldn't be hard. You either go all the way with your fucking reboot or you don't. You don't half-ass it like this. Like, you don't narcissist your way through this.
So
it's like the fact that it's like the time when he said that he was only going to hire one actor per character.
Yeah.
Dean Gunn has 3 live-action roles: the Weasel, Calendar Man, and Maxwell Lord, who's also in this movie.
Yes. Now I'm going to quote Nick Offerman by way of character whose name I don't remember. I'm going to say, "Don't half-ass 2 things, whole-ass 1 thing." That is not a very good Nick Offerman impression, I am aware, but just go look up Parks and Rec. Go watch whatever his name is. He's a great character. Every single line of his. He's the guy who says, "Not to worry, I have a permit," and then he pulls out the piece of paper that says, "I can do what I want."
I'm gonna make, before we end this off, I'm gonna make one more point that I've watched, or I've wrote here. This film really does have everything going against it. It's kind of, I don't know if I can call it the underdog of July, but in comparison to Fantastic Four and Jurassic World, it kind of is.
Well, Fantastic Four is coming off the heels of the hottest movie Marvel has put out in fucking years. Like,
and that one unfortunately flopped. I'm actually kind of upset by that because that was actually a really good fucking movie.
And we don't know that Thunderbolts is flopping yet. It has grossed its budget back within the first 2 weeks. That's good. That's a good thing. It needs to but we are early on. Word of mouth gets around. That film could wind up getting legs like Spider-Verse did.
The film needs 500 to 600 million to break even. It's only raised barely 300 million. And it had like a 55% drop on its second week, and that's normal.
55% drop is better than average, so I'll take that.
That's better than average. Yes, that's like slightly normal, but that's not great. I don't think it's going to beat, I would bet it beats Captain America 4 box office wise, which is like 400 million.
Yeah, no, there's no chance it doesn't at this rate, because Cap 4 flopped hard.
Yeah, and that one cost way more. And I remember, we're getting off topic, but I'm going off topic one more time. Remember when Disney tried gaslighting everyone that this movie was like only 180 million or something in the budget?
I can believe that the stuff we saw only cost 180 million, but they spent way more time and way more money on stuff that we didn't see. And like there's a whole version of the film where Seth Rollins plays the secondary villain, and
that General Ross was a Trump character type and would have turned into Red Hulk and stormed Congress. That got cut for obvious reasons.
That sounds... You know how that film should have ended? It should have ended with Red Hulk being like a smart Hulk, and the leader hulking out, and him like tearing stuff up, and then Sam and Red Hulk got to team up.
You know, it's funny you say that because the original Thunderbolts ending was going to have John Walker turning into Hulk after being injected with Hulk serum after being told
I remember that. That's so fucking dumb.
After being told he needed it to keep his super soldier powers by the main girl. Thankfully that was cut.
Hang on, the main girl. You're talking about Valentina?
Yes.
If that's the ending that happened, Valentina needs to be summarily fucking executed. Like, she's already on thin enough ice as it is, but like if she did that, like, she's worse than Thunderbolt. She's worse than the fucking leader. Like, Thaddeus Ross is a fucking war criminal, and he should not have become president. He shouldn't have been able to succeed in any way in the MCU after The Incredible Hulk.
Alex, remember, he only won his election because he shaved his mustache.
He won... Okay, so if I've got this correct, right? And I was wrong when I said that Skrull Rhodey was the vice president. I thought he was the vice president because that's how Secret Invasion treated him. No, he was Secretary of State. So the president in Secret Invasion, right? He gets he tries to take out all the Skrulls. Understandable, considering they almost nuked the entire planet. And then he loses the next election, presumably to Thaddeus Ross. And then...
To be fair, if I was involved with that, if the president was involved with that movie, they would lose an election too.
True. So Thaddeus becomes president. He is in office for less than a year by the time he resigns. Do you know that, right?
General Ross resign?
So, have you seen Cap 4?
I refuse to until my MC marathon I started recently.
Okay, so...
I haven't... yet.
Okay, so in Cap 4, at the very start of the film, Thunderbolt is elected president. At the end of the film, after having hulked out, he resigns, he puts himself in the raft.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know who the president is.
Fucking, of course.
We don't know who his vice president was. If this was a sane world, it would have been somebody who mattered.
Thunderbolts doesn't even mention he resigned. They just mention he hulked
Thunderbolts.
out.
No, Thunderbolts actually does mention, because they say that the last president.
Oh, yeah, the wording. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We're getting off. We should get back on track one more time.
Well, we need to wrap up because we're long manning this. This was less than 20 minutes of trailers that we have turned into nearly 3.5 hours.
Alex, we've really stretched this out. We were reaching for the skies to get this as long as we could.
Not on purpose,
listen,
but you know.
Here's the thing. It's as long as it is because we're very passionate about DC and its characters.
Oh yeah,
we care about
one of the very first books I remember reading was a Superman comic. It was, I believe it was Adventures of Superman 500 something. It was the one with the kid's drawing of Superman on the front cover. One of the other ones I remember reading is a Spider-Man comic, the movie, Stan Lee's adaptation of the movie. And
what was my introduction to DC? I think,
and of course George Lothar's Adventures of Superman the novel. That was that's something that has stuck with me forever. So these are some of the fundamental building blocks of my literacy, you know. And
I think the first DC movie I ever watched as a kid was Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker.
That's a good one to start with.
I think that was my first, and I saw Beware the Batman, which was vaguely my childhood Batman, but the main one I watched a lot was Batman Brave and the Bold, which was like the only Silver Age DC series to do it fucking right.
See, I remember seeing Smallville on TV. I remember Batman and Batman Returns and Superman 1, 2, and 3 playing on TV.
I think the first Batman film I seen in theaters was Dark Knight.
I also had Batman the movie from 1966 on DVD, and I watched that over and over and over again.
I think my main introduction to Superman as a whole, when I really think about it, I could be wrong, was two things. One, you know the Justice League cartoon where they're turned to kids and they had like the McDonald's toys for them?
Yes.
It was that and Man of Steel. I think those are my two main introductions to Superman, along with Goku versus Superman, funnily enough. And that's how I really got into the character.
Okay, yeah, people in the comments are probably going to be talking about how some of my roots run a bit deeper than yours in some regards.
Yes, but my roots, I didn't get into too many comics, and most of my introduction to the comics were Marvel stuff, mostly. Because I grew up with like Spider-Man and a lot of the Marvel stuff.
See, Marvel comics were easier to follow because they didn't have a bunch of disparate continuities with contradicting things going on. They didn't have they had two main timelines. There were 616 and 61 and 616 and 1610. Yeah, so mainline and ultimate. And most of them, it's really easy to get. I remember reading One More Day at like, it was either the library or the local comic store, and becoming irrevocably angry at the people who wrote that. I think I might have been 10 years old when I read that. And yeah, I've had a bit of a chip on my shoulder for things that fuck up my favorite superheroes ever since. As you can probably tell by some of the videos I've made and some of the live streams we've had.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we're coming up on midnight, so it's time for us to sign off. You guys know where to find us.
Hang on. I want to make my final point because I didn't get to do that because we got really sidetracked. But like, I mentioned that this movie was kind of an underdog, and I'm extremely fascinated to see how this does because July is an ultra important month for comic book movies. Like, look at all the box office. So many comic book movies are bombing left and right. Very few exceptions to that rule. I think the last one that did super well was Deadpool versus Wolverine.
Deadpool and Wolverine is the highest grossing comic book film of the last couple of years, and it is the highest grossing R-rated film of all time. Suck it, Joker!
And July is going to be a very important month because if both Superman and Fantastic Four bomb, that's the end of that industry. It will fucking implode. Because if DC's big upcoming movie that starts a new universe and the big movie proving that the MCU still has what it can do to make a good movie, guess what's going to take its place?
What?
What was the highest grossing movie of the year, Alex?
Excuse me, of last year?
This year.
This year so far? I believe it was a Chinese film, wasn't it?
Second highest grossing movie.
Okay, so I'm trying to remember everything that's come out this year.
Alex, it's
Minecraft.
Fucking yes.
Of course it's fucking Minecraft.
The video game movies are becoming far easier and less risky in terms of profit.
Oh,
like
God.
even the Minecraft movie, which I think is so bad it's good. Still a bad movie. Yes.
The third highest grossing film of the year is Captain America: Brave New World.
That says a lot about how bad this industry is doing,
Man,
Alex.
Sinners and Thunderbolts are only barely above Snow White.
They re-released Snow White and it bombed even harder.
I know that was so. I was so happy when I saw that.
That was the funniest shit ever. Let's get back to my point. Video game movies will take over the comic book movie industry. July is literally the test of all tests to prove that comic book movies can still do the same kind of performance as something like the video game movies coming out recently.
Yeah. Super Mario World the movie is coming, by the way, and that's gonna be big.
Yeah. What movie you say?
Super Mario World the movie.
Oh yeah, that's going to be fucking huge. Absolutely. If Superman and Fantastic Four do not perform well, if they don't break like let's say 700 million, that's got to be the end of the comic book movie industry. It won't be the end of comic book movies. You'll see them every now and then. But I think once Secret Wars comes out, Disney's going to start phasing them out more and more and kind of make Marvel smaller. And then DC Studios will start getting stripped down and James Gunn will be fired, because that's his movie. If Superman fails, he's getting the fuck out of there. Yeah. They're not going to keep him around for much longer. Maybe they'll keep him around for the other projects he's involved in, but they're not going to let him have a lot of power. But this is like a big test for the comic book movie industry. This is a big test for James Gunn because remember, with James Gunn all over the marketing, if this movie fails, they're going to blame him.
Yeah, his career is going to be on ice for a little while.
No, because the marketing is all him. It's all him. Like, look at my movie. There's a clip of him in New York pointing at the screen. Like, look, my movie's on the screen thing. No one's looking up, by the way. It's really sad. Like, no one in that street is looking at it while he's doing that.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. It's also really funny. But, James Gunn's career's on the line. The comic book movie industry as a whole is on the line in July. And I am extremely fascinated to see what happens there. For me, I'm going to see both those movies. I'm going to use a free ticket, for one, to spite Warner Brothers and Disney out of $16 because I'm kind of a prick like that. So, the second reason I'm just fascinated in both films. Like, as much shit as I've thrown Superman.
Ben, hang on a second. Somebody just pointed out that Metamorpho is creating kryptonite in the cell.
Oh, that's what he was doing.
I was wondering what that green thing in his hand was. I was hoping that wasn't the Green Lantern ring thing, but apparently that is probably kryptonite.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Metamorpho is going to be the best part of that movie, and I feel like he's only going to be in it for a very short amount of time, unfortunately. He's going to be cool. I think he's going to be a cool part of the movie. But with that being said, as much as I shit on this movie, I'm still curious. I am going to see it. And then I'll give my thoughts on it, maybe like a stream or something, and me and Alex can talk about it in greater detail. Same with Fantastic Four. I'm extremely fascinated in both films. I'm curious to see how well they'll do. I'm gonna keep a close eye on that box office because, again, it's do or die for not only Gunn's career but the comic book movie industry as a whole. I am extremely fascinated. I call this I'm going to call it the most important and significant month in comic book movie history since the Avengers release. That's how significant I would argue this. Because this is the month that's going to prove that they can keep going or die. Similar to how the Avengers was proving if this industry can fully exist or not. And be this big cinematic universe. But that's so to end it off, can James Gunn pull off the impossible? Can they prove everyone wrong and have one of the biggest successes we've seen since, Deadpool and Wolverine? Well, only one has the limits to give it all.
Well, I had a quite significant attachment to Cavill as Superman. I remember thinking that it was weird they were casting a British man as Superman, and then when I saw the film, I completely forgot that he was actually not American.
Is it bad that I just remembered that he's British?
He's one of those actors where he sounds like it's not Hugh Laurie levels yet, but when you hear him speaking in any accent that's not the one you're used to, it sounds kind of off. It's like when you hear David Tennant speaking in a Scottish accent, Now, like I said, I had a big, quite a big attachment to Man of Steel because I was 15 years old when that came out. I'd long since given up on seeing an interpretation of Superman on screen that was any good. And then that film came out and blew me away. My dad is a big Superman fan too. He loves that movie. He loves, BVS and Justice League. I'm not counting Joss Whedon's version there, because fuck that film. Like I said, I am incredibly biased in that regard. Like those are some of the films that I legitimately love more than most films. And this just reminds me of all the failures that I've seen before. It reminds me of all the bad adaptations we've seen to animation. It reminds me of the worst elements of the Donner, Lester et al. Films. It reminds me of the worst elements of Supergirl. It reminds me of the worst elements of, Crisis and the bad things from Smallville, where they just come up with bullshit to fill out an episode, I remember Tom Welling refused to do the musical episode and got that scrapped entirely, which tells you how far back the dumb theater kid shit goes in the CW. And I know that fully aware that I am a dumb theater kid.
Yeah.
Because there's a fly that has made its way into my room and it is dive bombing my throat. Anyways.
Hang on, I just remembered something.
Yeah.
Remember when Marvel released their casting thing? It was like the several hour video of them slowly
that 5-hour dolly shot of the chairs.
It kind of derailed what DC's marketing was doing at the time. I'm willing to bet they're going to do it again right before Superman releases.
I wouldn't doubt that. I'll bet you that they're going to be doing that for all the people we didn't see. They're probably going to... They're probably gonna find a way to get Scarlett Johansson back. They're probably gonna find a way to get fuck it. They might even get Edward Norton back, just for the fucking key jingles.
Man, I hope they get Jeremy Reynolds back.
They
really
better. They tried to screw that man. And I saw RDJ
After
reading Jeremy's.
They tried to get him half the price, thinking that he was like worth half the man he was. Fucking bullshit that was.
Yeah, and that
Anyways, continue with your point.
But yeah, I think the thing that would get people freaked out the most, I think that the week that this film comes out, we might see Tom Cruise's name on one of those chairs.
Oh, because you know what? Because they've been wanting to get him as Iron Man for fucking years.
Yeah, they've been trying to get him as Iron Man since 2005, and he was attached, and then the film fell through, and he was in full time in on Mission Impossible and the Reacher films.
There were plans, I think, to get him as Iron Man in Doctor Strange as one of the variants.
There was an idea to get him in on the Illuminati Council. Thankfully, I'm glad that they didn't do that, because for as much as I love what that film does and how close to a real movie it becomes, it does still have some stupid stuff in it, with the Illuminati Council. Some of the ways that they die are a little bit lame.
Yeah, he would have, if I remember correctly, he would have been like the superior Iron Man variant.
Yeah, superior Iron Man. That would have been neat.
That would have been cool.
But he, if anybody shouldn't, I think what happened is he had to have seen the script, the section of the script or the description of what was going to happen when they all got killed, and he said nah, because that wouldn't have been conducive. That wouldn't have been, and that would have just been hey, you were almost cast in this role 20 years ago. Let's jingle the keys of the audience. And Tom Cruise, for all of his faults as a human being, he's better than that as a filmmaker. And the new Mission Impossible is out. I'm gonna see it as soon as I can. I know that that's gonna be fucking great, because Tom Cruise has delivered on every Mission Impossible sent from 3 to now.
I've heard the new one is one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah, the people who are complaining about it are the people who are wrong about fucking everything, so I'm looking forward to it.
I want to see it, but I've never seen any of the other movies, so I don't know.
So, watch at least one episode of the original Mission Impossible TV show, right? That'll get you in the mood That'll get you in the mood for what Mission Impossible 1 is. Then you need to listen to a bunch of Metallica records, and then you'll be in the mood for Mission Impossible 2.
Metallica is essential to understand the Mission Impossible war.
One of Metallica's best songs is on the Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack, yes. Yes. Then just watch 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7.
I remember Henry Cavill's shotgun arms.
Oh my god, that was so that's an actual thing that big guys like me and Cavill, I'm not as big as Cavill, well, obviously, but it's that's something that the big guys will do, who when their shirts get kind of bunched up around them, you gotta kind of flick your arms like that to get them kind of loosened up a little. And he did that. He did that once, and they were like, "Hey, that's cool. Keep doing that." And it's become his thing. So he does that in The Witcher, and he does that as Wolverine and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, he did it with Wolverine. That was awesome.
Yeah, if they ever bring him back as Superman, they're probably gonna have him do that, and I would kill to see that.
That would be cool. They're his arms charging up. That would be cool. All right, you were making your point about Henry Cavill and Superman. What were you saying?
I was always biased against this, just like I was always biased against Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I was wrong about Andrew as Spider-Man. Andrew fucking killed it. He killed it in both movies. He was amazing, no pun intended. And I was devastated when I didn't see him in the Avengers. Tom Holland.
He was playing for it too.
Yeah, Tom Holland fucking sucked as Spider-Man for quite a few outings. His first 2 solo films are abysmal. Like, they treat the character poorly. The story is dog shit. Like, before you even get into the fact that it's just not Spider-Man, you know? But then...
I will say, I like Homecoming. Can't defend the second movie anymore.
Homecoming is one of those things where it's too many iterations away from a good story, because it's got 6 writers, right? It's been rewritten several times. It's got a bunch of studio mandates involved, and then you've just got the fact that I can tell which jokes were written by John Francis Daley and his friend, who he does all his stuff with, because that guy's writing and humor style comes through really obviously.
It's also more of an Iron Man movie than a Spider-Man movie.
Yes, and so this film could come out and it could prove me wrong. I was completely against the concept of Batman v Superman when that film was announced, and now I thought it was too fucking soon. I thought it was a stupid marketing ploy. Because it was announced in 2014, right?
Yeah, I remember the announcement on the radio.
Year after Man of Steel. It's like, year after Man of Steel, we're getting a different Batman than, no Christian Bale coming back. There's going to be, like, all this stuff, because I knew about, like, the marketing gimmicks that they'll do is like, oh, these heroes are gonna fight, and and then the film came out, and it completely blew me away, and then I saw the extended edition, and that was even better. And at that point I was like, wow, Civil War might not be dog shit, and I was completely wrong, and Civil War was complete dog shit.
This is something me and Alex will always disagree on and will always fight on for the rest of our fucking lives.
So it's a shame that you weren't on the Civil War video, because you and Kevin would have been on the same page about something for once in your lives.
Wait, what would we be on the same side on?
You guys both like Civil War, and Bender and I were both on the side of Civil War being absolute shit.
You and Jedi hated it? Holy
Bender
shit,
and
man! I should have been there.
Fucking, Bender and I were picking that film apart like at a molecular level almost, and it kind of agitated Kevin.
And
it would
at least on his side on that stream.
It would have been fucking hilarious for Kevin to slowly realize that you're not arguing against him on a topic for once.
Damn it! I wish I was on that stream. I would have backed him up completely.
And that's one of those things that's kind of leading me towards, because, for those of you who want to know, because fuck it, we've been going for a while now. Ben has proposed a complete MCU rewatch between me, him, and whoever else wants to show up, and I'm not opposed to that as a concept. And I would really like to see what you think about the criticisms I have about Civil War and Iron Boy, because, like, I've got nuclear grade material to take out fucking Civil War, and I've got stuff that people don't know about. Like, I will pull out obscure references for this shit. Because that film essentially fucks with the entire MCU timeline before any of the major retcons start happening.
Honestly, I'm sure it does, but I still really like the story that they tell. I like a lot of stuff they did, especially the limitations that they had to deal with. The rights were fucked for a lot of characters.
I feel like they could have... because the original plan for it, after they managed to secure Robert Downey Jr. for the film, was to do Avengers versus Dark Avengers. And I think that would have been a better idea.
It sounds like something similar to setting up with Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
right?
see, that was the one... Yeah, actually, come to think of it. And it would have included some of the same or similar people. It would have been the first time Ike Perlmutter ever had a good idea in his goddamn life. Because Ike Perlmutter is the reason why we didn't get a fucking War Machine movie.
Oh, yeah, because the idea was
racist son of a bitch.
Yeah. He said when he commented on the cast of War Machine that no one would notice because he's black, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't. It was like, oh, we're just going to cast another black guy. Nobody's going to notice.
What a fucking piece of shit. And he's also he refused to make a Black Widow movie because he didn't think women would make money at the box office.
He's also the reason I couldn't find... Okay, so I've told this story before. I'm going to tell it again. So, I found these little... There were these little... You know Kinder Surprise, right? Mm-hmm. Those little eggs that have little toys inside. So there were Avengers Endgame, tie-in Kinder Surprises. And I got all of them. I have the entire team that they put out. It is... And notice, you'll have to remember, you'll have to note, there are a few major exclusions here. So I'm going to list them off from left to right. We have Hulk, Ant-Man, Black Panther, Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Groot. In case you're wondering where the others are, they don't exist. They were never in that toy line. No Black Widow, no Hawkeye. No Loki, no Thanos. No Star-Lord, no Gamora, no Nebula, no Rocket Raccoon. And do you want to know how many of these stupid little chocolate eggs I went through before I found one Black Panther?
Too many?
I think it was 50.
Jesus Christ, Alex.
They cost like 10 cents a piece because I bought them on clearance.
God. So much money.
And I went through, I think it was 60 or 70 before I found another. So it was, if I'd have bought those at full retail, it would have been several $100s to find one Black Panther. And this was at the height of his popularity, too.
Damn.
Anyways, we've talked about this and other slightly related topics for far too long, and now I don't have time to get ready tomorrow. So I'm going to have to drop everything and run. So we will see you guys later. You know where to find us. Until then...
Watch this, thank you very much for listening to us rant and rave about something we're passionate about.
Until then, bye everybody.
Bye-bye.